Lions at the 10-yard line. He drops back, hands off to Olsen. Olsen to the 7, to the 5, to the 3. Touchdown! The Lions win this one, folks. The Lions have just sealed the victory.
Stand by for exciting high school sports action on TV50 Sports Weekend with tape replay of 2 complete high school games, interviews, news, and special features with TV50 Sports Weekend anchor Brian Harder.
Hello and welcome to TV50 Sports Weekend. I'm Brian Harder and I'll be your host for today and for what is shaping up to be an exciting 1990 high school football season. We begin our season here at TV50 by bringing you Cleveland JFK at Mansfield Sr. and Madison at Shelby. The Senior High Tigers, who will be part of the first of 2 games you'll see today, will rely heavily on the services of Jamal Hawkins, their quarterback who threw for over 800 yards last season. Mansfield is a team which lacks experience and the services of Carrick Franklin, a running back who rushed for over 1,000 yards for the Tigers in 1989. They are an option football team and will count heavily on the quickness and the arm of Hawkins to hopefully carry them into the Ohio Heartland Conference season. Another plus for the Tigers will be a quicker, more aggressive defense. Cornerback Alonzo Vance is the leader in that group, and add him with strong safety Jesse Jackson, free safety Brian Forrest, and cornerback Alex Rawls, and you have a very talented defensive unit. The Tigers will host Cleveland JFK in Game 1 of our doubleheader. In Game 2, the classic Madison-Shelby matchup. Madison, the defending Ohio Heartland Conference champion, hopes to counter the losses of quarterback Derek Boyd along with 7 other first-team Ohio Heartland Conference performers. Mike Nicholas will be the Rams starter at quarterback. He'll have plenty of help in running back Steve Whitfield and Obi Stillwell. Jason Kiley gives the Rams a threat at the wide receiver spot, and Lee Rachel looks like he'll be a good one in the Madison secondary. The Rams finished 1989 with a 6-4 record and a perfect 4-0 mark in the Ohio Heartland Conference. They'll be a team to watch this season. Shelby will be looking to improve on a 3-7 mark from last year. Quarterback Jason Sloan, who completed only 30% of his passes last season, will use last year's experience as a starter to help the Whippet cause. Running backs Jeff Gerhardt and Mike Houston will take some of the pressure off of Sloan. They're big, strong, and should help a Shelby ground game, which will be counted on heavily this season. Defensively, Cal Dietz is the main man. The 6-foot, 215-pound nose tackle was Shelby's second leading tackler in 1989. The staff here at TV50 is very excited about bringing you high school football this season, so sit back, relax, and enjoy our program today as the Mansfield Senior High Tigers host Cleveland JFK in Game 1, and the Shelby Whippets host the Madison Rams in Game 2. I'm Brian Harder, and I'll see you at halftime.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome to High School Football 1990. I'm Mike Green, and with me is Dick Edmond for our Mansfield Sr. Cleveland JFK game for tonight, the kickoff to the 1990 football season, not only for the Tigers, but for TV50 as well. In fact, the kickoff for high school football period on Television 50 here in Mansfield. And Dick Edmond, in case you're wondering, is a Mansfield native, a graduate of the Tigers High School, and we'll let him tell you a little bit later in just a moment when. But he's now the Sports Information Director at Heidelberg College in Tiffin, Ohio. And Dick, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background as far as being a Tiger.
Well, coming back here is a real thrill, really. A lot of memories. You know, the colors have changed a little bit from red and white now to orange, but the memories still are here. And I graduated in 1957, and that was a classic year as far as our senior class, at least. We're kind of prejudiced and feel that way. That was the year that we beat Massillon in this stadium, and something that I will never forget. I continually tell my wife October 19th, 1956, 14-6, and I'll never forget it. It's something that I guess high school memories are made of. and we finished with just one loss that year. And we had some great players, Jack Ward and Dave Geyer, the late Pete Zivkoff, Bill Frana, just to name a few, and all through our high school careers here, and I have to say, I did not play football, but the students were very much a part. I look around here now, I can remember when you couldn't get in here. 12, 13,000 people packed in here every Friday night. And it was something of a festival-type atmosphere here.
You know, you mentioned the amount of people in the stands. Talking to Dick Henry, the athletic director, now the stands themselves, which have been refurbished, seat 10,000 people. But back then, I think when you were talking in the 50s, Dick, they had seating at the end zones, and I think at that time they could seat as many as 14,000 people.
Right, and they would even sit on the hills here at each end zone and watch the game. And I remember sophomore year, we came in here, Bill Peterson was the coach, and actually favored to beat Massillon here, and that was when Willie Mack and Eddie Mack played here. And we played here one night when I think 3/4 of the state of Ohio canceled their games because of a big rainstorm, and we were defeated here 18-0 because it was just so muddy. And Massillon went inside the locker room and put on their rain uniforms, came out in their plastic-coated pants for their running backs, and they beat us. And the second year we went up there, we took a train. In those days we had pep buses and trains, went to Massillon, and we tied that game 6-6. And then I think everybody thought that was it, we were finished, and all of a sudden the Jack Wards and the unknown names became a household word the following year, in our senior year, and that was in 1956, actually, the football season, and that's when we defeated them here. But we lost to Hamilton. We couldn't beat Hamilton. That was the one team we couldn't beat.
Well, it's obvious that Dick Edmond is very familiar with the tradition of Mansfield Tiger football. Now, I will warn you tonight, when you look across the field, you're going to see from our camera angle that there aren't going to be a lot of people in the north stands. Now, that's the visitor stands, which would belong to Cleveland JFK, and I can tell you, as you will see, that they didn't bring too many people with them. But the stands below us here at Island Field, on the south side of the stands, will be rapidly filling up and should have near capacity on this side, so we could expect probably perhaps 3,500 to 4,500 fans tonight on what really is a very nice football night, Dick. We've been relatively lucky here in the last couple of weeks because it hasn't been oppressively hot for the guys to practice in.
Right, and the rain is held off. It's been looking like rain every day all week long. I don't think we have seen the sun for at least 3 days, but it has held off as far as the rain. It's a perfect night for high school football.
Well, let's talk about the two teams involved. It's going to be Mansfield Senior High School, a team that went 4-6 last year, and the first time that the two schools, Malabar and Senior High, have been consolidated again after about 20 years as separate schools. And they started off with a victory, then lost to Zanesville, and had an up-and-down season in Steve Gilbert's first year as the head coach of the consolidated schools. He's been here a couple of years prior to that. As for the JFK ball club, the Eagles, as they're known, they finished last year by a score or with a record of 2 wins and 8 losses. They come in with a rather sparse roster, not a whole lot of people in the squad, but probably a talented group of young men. As for the Tigers, I talked to Steve Gilbert just before the ball game. He told me they'll dress 80 young men for the game tonight, and while they're big in numbers, they aren't really deep in experience. In fact, he has only 8 returning lettermen. So that should tell you that it's going to be a young team in terms of experience, and very candidly, a lot of people are not giving the Tigers too much of a chance for a really good season this year, but I have a feeling that maybe they'll surprise some people because they have some very good people at skilled positions. A couple of those people, certainly the key man on offense would have to be Jamal Hawkins. I know you haven't seen him, Dick, but he's a big young man. He's about 6'1", 190 pounds. He can throw the ball. He can run. I think he was timed at about 4.6 in the 40-yard dash, and that's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all.
Alonzo Gilmore is also the split back, and so we're going to set the lineups for you a little later on, but it should be a great ball game. The Eagles of Cleveland JFK and the Tigers of Mansfield Sr. We'll be back with the kickoff after these words.
I found the house I want to buy, but I don't have quite enough cash for the down payment. I need an FHA loan.
Call Mayor Mortgage.
I qualify for a VA loan with no down payment. But where do I go to get one?
Go to Mayor Mortgage. With my financial maturity, I certainly should qualify for a low interest rate home loan. But where do I go to find one?
Try Mayor Mortgage.
I've had some slow credit. I'd pay a higher interest rate to own my own house. But who in Mansfield's going to give me the chance?
For all your commercial and home mortgage needs, contact Mayor Mortgage at 270 Lexington Avenue in Mansfield. Just call 756-6927. That's 756-6927.
Ready for the kickoff for the Tigers. It's going to be Jamal Hawkins to kick things off here to start the 1990 football season. Andre Jones and Curtis Kirk back for the Eagles of JFK. A perfect, beautiful night for football. A little bit overcast, almost some fog in the air, but I think we're going to see some fine football, and Hawkins about ready to put toe to football, and the season is underway. And it's going to be Kirk at about the 12-yard line, straight up the middle, and he's met and downed at about the 28-yard line. Looked like a little scramble for the football there. But Kirk brings it back to the 27-yard line.
Jesse Jackson in on the first hit of the season.
Setting the Tiger defensive unit for you. The Tigers will work out of the 5-man front with the 2 men at the linebackers, and we'll set them for you in just a moment. The quarterback is David Smith, and he gives to Kirk, who is their big man at fullback, and he spins over the 34-yard line.
Curtis Kirk, the ball carrier.
Met by a couple of the Tigers. Let's set that defense for you right now. Middle guard is John Manis. He's number 31 for the Tigers. Andy Tridico and Brandon Lindsay are the tackles. Paul Kahn, who's a tough young man, very physical, and Chris Samuel are the ends. We'll get to the rest in a moment. Gain of 6. It's going to be 2nd down, 4 to go, and we got a whistle as the crew headed by
Helmet strap.
Hamilton's helmet strap undone. Greg Garrick refereeing tonight. And the Eagles started a big hole for Curtis Kirk as he's out over the 40-yard line, and that one opened up pretty good, Dick.
Right, and right there was Jesse Jackson. He was the first to meet him, and if he'd have got by Jesse, he might have gone.
First down, though. First down of the ball game as the Eagles move the ball. Jason Tate and Tony Famia are the linebackers, and they're good ones. The monster back is Jesse Jackson. He's number 6. Number 4, Alex Rawls, and 37, Alonzo Vance. And watch him. He is a good one. He's to this side of the field. First down for the Eagles. Up the middle they go again, and not much room there. Maybe a yard, maybe 2.
Andre Jones, the ball carrier.
We're in the first quarter of action here from Ireland Field. No score. Cleveland JFK has had the ball since taking the opening kickoff.
Andy Tridico was in on the stop.
The only other young man I haven't mentioned yet is Brian Forrest. He's number 14, and he plays the free safety for the Tigers. Gain of 2, 2nd down, 8 to go. High backfield, again Curtis Kirk, and I think we're going to have movement before the ball was snapped by the Eagles. I think I saw the up back perhaps move. I'm not sure. In any event, it will be probably a 5-yard walk-off. They're talking to Alonzo Vance. And for those of you who just tuned in, welcome to high school football on TV 50. TV 50 Sports Weekend. We're in Ireland Field. I'm Mike Green. With me is Dick Edmond. The illegal procedure against the Eagles, a 5-yard walk-off, is going to make it 2nd down and about 13 to go. 10 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the first quarter as the Eagles of JFK move it on offense. Split backfield behind the quarterback Smith, and he's back to pass, rolling to his right, and underthrows his man. Actually, that wasn't Smith. That's a new quarterback in there. Dwight Knowles, number 10. He's just a sophomore.
David Smith pass intended for Chris Hubbard is incomplete.
Smith started the game, number 11. Don't have some weights for you as far as the Eagles are concerned, but as far as the Tigers, they are not a big team, especially defensively. They are not a real big team. 210 pounds at one tackle, 180 pounds at the other. 3rd and 13. And again, the handoff goes to Kirk in a big hole. He's across the 45 midfield into Tiger territory. Fumbles the football, but they're going to get it.
JFK is going to recover it.
A gaping hole.
He's going to gain about 5 yards on that, too.
Over left guard and tackle. Yeah, they picked up some yardage on the fumble. They had the man who recovered it was Andre Jones. He's their one of their defensive backs and also plays tailback. One of the things about the Eagles is they have about 8 guys who go both ways. So that may tell in the latter parts of the game. The ball is now at the 35-yard line of Tiger territory. And again, we have a man in motion as Andre Jones couldn't hold his three-point stance, and another penalty will be walked off against JFK, their second of the night. That'll make it 1st down and 15 to go.
Second one for 10 yards.
2 penalties, 10 yards. Greg Garrick is the referee on the field. And he's working with a crew that includes Chris Byrne, who was on Sports Talk this past week.
Only about 2.5 minutes into the game, and Curtis has already piled up 41 yards.
Curtis Kirk. 1st and 15 now for the Eagles. George Jones wide to the right. And the handoff again to Kirk, and again he's got a big hole. He's into about the 31-yard line. Coming up to meet him is Brian Forrest.
Brought down by
but they're really opening some holes, and it's not really just one side of the line where they're getting the yardage.
No, he's got a lot of quickness, a lot of speed and quickness.
Without really knowing what the weights are, and we weren't given a list of the sizes, it looks to me like JFK has a decided size advantage on that offensive line over the defensive line of the Tigers. And rolling back to pass and setting up, deep throw is going to be overthrown everybody. And that again was sophomore Dwight Knowles, who was looking for his man down the right sideline.
Dwight Knowles pass
intended for Chris Hubbard.
He's 0 for 2.
And so usually in this spot, or at least to this point of the game, about 3.5 minutes into it, they've given the ball to number 44, Curtis Kirk.
Right.
He's been their bread and butter man, and he's a fine runner. Scott Gilbert, I beg your pardon, Coach Gilbert, Steve Gilbert, told us before the game that he was a man to watch, and so far he has been. And again, they're going to give it to him. Breaks to the outside. He can break the containment, but he can't. Well, he breaks the tackle. He broke a tackle. Finally brought down on the near sideline, but not before he picked up some very, very good yardage. First Jackson and rolls. Jackson and rolls.
Good for a Fighting Eagle 1st down on the
Another Eagle
23-yard line.
With 8 minutes, 39 seconds to go here. First quarter, no score. As the Eagles of JFK roll on, they've had the ball since the opening kickoff.
And Kirk has 56 yards. I've got him for 5 carries. Not bad average.
Not bad in about the first 4 minutes of action. He's deep man in the eye. Knowles, the quarterback, gives to the first man through, and that was Jones, and he didn't get too much yardage, down to about the 20-yard line. Line of scrimmage at about the 23.5. So we'll give him 3 yards.
Shot by Andy Tritico. And
2nd down and 7 to go for the Eagles. First game for both teams. Opening game for high school football in the state of Ohio. And we're happy to have you along here on TV 50's Sports Weekend. I'm Mike Green. Dick Edmond is with me here at Arlen Field. 2nd down and between 7 and 8 yards to go. Knowles, the quarterback, with the handoff to Curtis Kirk. And this time, the Tigers smelled it out. Tony Famia up with a hard hit.
Jesse Jackson took the ball away from him, Mike.
I don't think the ref's going to give it to him, though. Jesse thought he had it.
Brought down by Tony Famia, and Jesse
he didn't get it. So a good defensive play that time. Maybe the Tigers are beginning to catch on that when the chips are down, they go to Mr. Kirk.
20-yard line.
And it's 3rd again.
3rd and 7 yards, maybe closer to 6 yards to go for the 1st down. And out of the huddle they come again. And I think Curtis Kirk is out of there right now. And Knowles, the quarterback, with a handoff, not to Kirk, but to his replacement, who gets inside the 10-yard line or near the 10 before he steps out. And his replacement is a big man himself, Anthony Crawford.
Anthony Crawford, the ball
He's a junior.
Run out of bounds.
And he's got to be about 6'2", but basically the same type of an offensive effort as they have when Mr. Kirk is in there. And I don't know whether he's hurt or not. Curtis Kirk is on the sidelines as the Eagles continue to roll. The clock down to 7 minutes here in the first quarter. They're at the 10-yard line, first and just a little bit more than goal to go. Up the middle, Jones, the fullback at the 2, the 1, touchdown. And boy, did they blow out the nose guard and the left defensive tackle as Jones scores for the Eagles of JFK, and that was a very impressive drive, Dick Edmond.
Yes, it was. 12 plays, and of those 12 plays, 6 of those, just half of them, by Kirk, 58 yards. But then they bring in some reserve troops, and they do just as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Coach Gilbert has to be a little bit concerned with the defense, at least at this moment. But as I said earlier, one of the things that you might look for is the fact that about 8 of the Eagles go both ways, and they're going to go for 2 points. Quarterback Knowles rolling to his right, looking in the end zone. Got a man wide open, but he overthrew it. Ooh! And did he take a fall over the fence? Number 22, George Jones, went head over heels over the fence, and the ball was overthrown. So the extra point is no good, and with 6:53 remaining here in the first quarter, the score, JFK 6, the Mansfield Tigers nothing. We'll be back with the kickoff after these words.
Justin's Art Carved Studio 1. Visit Duncan Jewelers for your class ring, cause Duncan's got just the thing. If you're in town or at the mall, Duncan Jewelers is the place to see it all. Area high schools, if you want to be cool, go straight to Duncan's after school. A wide selection, sell prices too. Duncan Jewelers has the class ring for you. For the best memory of your high school days, go to Duncan Jewelers, cause it really pays.
Hearing and understanding conversation in noisy places, what I went through. Now with my tiny bell-tone petites, I hear everything, and you can hardly see them. My good life goes on. Yours can too. Call Belltone now. Have your hearing tested by a trained specialist. It's free during Belltone's 50th anniversary.
Belltone in Mansfield, Mount Vernon, Ashland, and Norwalk. Call the location nearest you.
WVNO plays light rock favorites of the 60s, 70s, and today, all on compact disc, like George Michael, Fleetwood Mac, Sade. It's the custom CD music mix on 106.1 FM WVNO.
This is your formal invitation to watch the TV50 Home Show. Tune in every Saturday at 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. and again on Sunday at noon for this half-hour program featuring today's finest real estate offerings. Our new TV50 Home Show is this area's premier real estate showcase, so make it a point to join us each weekend for your full-color tour of area houses. It's new and exciting, the TV50 Home Show.
Well, Mike, on that drive, they took the ball in about 12 plays, just a dozen plays. It all took the Eagles to drive it right down for the first score of the 1990 season. And like I said, Kirk was the big man during the drive. He carried the ball 6 times, and we've got him for 58 yards. They weren't too successful in the air, 0 for 2, but they sure could grind it out on the ground, and especially on third down plays. Here's the kickoff.
Here's the kickoff. It's a very short one. It's going to be fielded at about the 28-yard line by one of the up men. He's back at the 35, across the 40, to the 42-yard line, and I believe it was Jason Tate, who is a linebacker on defense, who returned that kickoff to the Tigers. And they're going to start first and 10 at their own 42-yard line. Very good field position. Setting him offensively, tight end is Mark Barr. Tackles, Donovan Powers and Matt Brum. The guards are Phil Hawkins and Larry Shears. Chris Fade is the center. We'll get to the backs in a moment. It is Jamel Hawkins who is at quarterback. Hawkins to the first man through. Big opening, that is, to midfield. And with the football is Mike Babber. He's just a sophomore. He rolls. for about 8 yards on the first play from scrimmage. Vavra is the fullback. He's a sophomore. Jamal Hawkins, the senior quarterback with 4.5 speed. James Toppy Coe, he's number 47. He's a tailback, and the split back, the slot back will be Alonzo Gilmore, and this is Alonzo Gilmore coming to the near sidelines, and it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Alonzo. 2nd and 2 for the Tigers. Again, it's Vavra. Again, he's got pretty good yardage. He's got the first down into JFK territory to about the 46-yard line, and it's a first down as signaled by referee Greg Garrett. 6-0. JFK leads the Tigers. They took it on their first drive in for the score, missed the extra 2 points that they tried for. 5:52 remaining first quarter. Wide to the left is Gilmore, and the quarterback is Jamel Hawkins. Jamel down the line, and the option plays out to Coe. Coe's got a blocker. He's at the 40, and we're going to get a penalty flag. And a tough call against number 55, Larry Shears. But it's going to be a clipping call.
This is a pretty play by Hawkins. He faked in the line and held it just that long enough to pitch it outside.
I'll tell you what I think happened there, Dick. I think that the defensive man turned his back just a little bit because Shears did have an angle, but you have to keep that head in front of the defensive man, or you're going to get called every time. So that's going to be a big walk-off on a first down carry by Toppy Coe. They call him Toppy. James Toppy Coe. He and Tony Barrett have been vying for that starting tailback spot for the Tigers. Barrett has been nagged by some injuries through the summer practice sessions. So here we go with a walk-off. It's 1st and 11 for the Tigers, and out they come. To the near side is Gilmore. Hawkins with the ball to Coe. Again, a big hole, 40, 38-yard line.
I'll tell you, Mike, he's getting some excellent blocking up front.
Both teams have pretty much run at will to this point.
Picked up about 8 yards. He's got 19 now and 3 carries.
2nd and 2 for the Tigers from the
Tigers with just a couple of yards to go here to pick up a first down. 5:15 to go first quarter. Gilmore to this side, I formation behind Hawkins. Hawkins spins, gives to Vavra. Vavra's inside that 35-yard line. Vavra has the first down.
Brought down by Toma Williams.
Kennedy in that 5-3 defense defend a lot of their linebackers. They are Watkins, Stitt, and Sheely. Watkins, Stitt, and Sheely, the linebackers for Cleveland JFK. First down for Vavra. He's just a sophomore. By the way, he's starting his first game as a varsity member, as is Coe, Goings, Mayer, Brum, Hawkins, Spade, Shears, Powers, and Barr. And another handoff to Vavra, and another big hole on the left side this time.
The ball carrier.
Inside the 30-yard line.
Brought down by
Well, it looks like it's going to be a Kirk and Valvis show today.
Gain of 6 on the play brings up 2nd and 4 for the Tigers.
And it looks as though if things stay the way they are, well, both teams can exploit the other's rushing defense at will.
They have a lot of scoring.
Here we come, and the split ends, by the way, bringing the plays. It's Jim Mayer split to the near sideline. Out to the left is Gilmore. Tigers on 2nd and 4. Hawkins back to throw. Looking for Mayer. Mayer's deep. Mayer's at the goal. Touchdown! Jim Mayer, he is the fastest man in the Tiger squad, and he catches a beautifully thrown ball from Jamal Hawkins. Touchdown, Tigers. Jim Mayer, number 84. He's a 6', 160-pound senior, and he is starting his first game as a member of the Tiger varsity. And what a way to make your debut with a touchdown pass covering
28 yards.
28 yards from Jamal Hawkins. His first attempt, and now they're going to go for the extra point, and they need men. They need men right now, and they're either going to have to take a timeout or a penalty, one or the other, and they're probably going to get, I would imagine, the penalty if they don't hustle here. Running onto the field is number 81. That's Dehaney El Amin. The kick is up, and the kick is no good by Hawkins. And that doesn't help your situation very much at all.
6-6 tie.
You hate to see that, but I guess those things are to be expected early in the season.
I guess what was impressive about the Mansfield drive was the fact that they were able to strike in the air, so they got to do a little bit of each and mix up the plays a little bit, and they caught him napping on that play, and it was a nice catch, nice throw.
Jamal Hawkins is a really outstanding athlete. He, of course, started for the Tigers last year. He was a Malabar athlete who came in the consolidation move and has kind of solidified his position as the starting quarterback here in the preseason. He's a good-sized young man. As I said, he's 6 feet tall, 195 pounds, compactly built, runs about a 4.6 40, and that is moving. And talking to some of the fellows who bird-dogged the high school talent for colleges, they think that this young man has quite a future at the college level if he chooses to play college football. I know that as a sports information director at Heidelberg, Dick, you get some boys from this area.
Oh, yes. We've got quite a few. Willard, a lot of them from this area, in all sports. A lot of the ladies come up here and play, too. So we've got some good female athletic teams. Of course, our women's basketball team went to the NCAA Final Four last year. So
first quarter kickoff from Hawkins goes deep. And taking it about the 10-yard line, straight up the middle comes Jones. Jones cuts to the outside of the 20, and he's chased down and dropped. And a very fine piece of coverage work. And the man who brought him down was Jerry Collier. He's a junior, 5'7", 150-pounder.
It's a nice tackle.
6-6 the score with 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go here in the first period from Arlen Field. Again, welcome to TV 50's first broadcast or telecast of high school football. I'm Mike Green. With me is Dick Edmond. And we're going to be with you all season long. And we've got another game coming up after this. It's Shelby Madison. Brian Harder will be bringing you that one. JFK with the football. And a whistle stops play.
Might have had some movement again. They've been called for that twice.
Quarterback is Dwight Knowles. He's just a sophomore, number 10. He came in to replace the starter, David Smith, about midway through that first series for JFK. No word as to what happened to Smith, whether he was hurt or whether this young man is beating him out. I don't know.
Well, it's a timeout for Mansfield Sr.
Tigers took their timeout, and we've got about 3:39 to go in the first period of play. We will have, as I started to tell you, following this game on TV 50 Sports Weekend, we're going to have the Shelby Madison game from Arlen Field.
That's always a good game.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's always a dandy.
I can speak with some authority on tradition at Shelby and Shelby Madison games, but I won't do that. We're at Tiger country right now. The Tigers, by the way, next week are on the road at Zanesville, and they're going to have their hands full down there. Zanesville is a team that came up last year and beat the Tigers here at Arlen Field. They had a great tailback last year, and I can't remember his name, but I do know that Earl Bruce recruited him at Colorado State, and he didn't qualify. It was Proposition 48, but he was a good one. Here we go, first down and 10, and with the handoff up the middle again is
Jones.
He gets good yardage to about the 29-yard line. As the Tigers, Jesse Jackson, their quarterback, brings him down. Again, defensively, the backfield monster back is Jesse Jackson, a senior there. Alex Rawls is the corner, along with Alonzo Vance. They're both seniors, and junior Brian Forrest rounds out that backfield. Number 37, Alonzo Vance, is a fellow to keep your eye on, too. The college scouts very high on him. Good speed, good tackling skills. Just a fine defensive back. Second down, 3 to go for JFK. Across the 32-yard line, or across to the 32-yard line, goes Andre Jones. And he's close to another first down if he doesn't have it, and he does have it.
Fighting Eagle first down on their own.
He's got 24 yards now on 4 carries, and I believe that's the 5th first down for JFK.
And I don't see Curtis Kirk in there. He's the fellow that chewed up some yardage, and he's not been in for the last couple of series, or not series, but at least the last 8 or 10 plays. First and 10 for JFK at about the 32-yard line. Hand off again to Jones. Stacked up. is not Jones, that's Anthony Crawford. He is stacked up at near the 34-yard line.
Jackson in there again, playing good defense here early.
Thing is, though, when your defensive backs are making a lot of the tackles, somebody up front is not doing the job. Clock ticking away, 2:19 to go. First quarter.
I don't see Kurt on that other sideline.
He may have gone inside or into the locker room.
Wait a minute, there he is.
I do see him.
Yes, he's over there by that water cooler.
Second down, 8 to go. Knowles, the quarterback. Knowles rolling to his right, being chased. He's near the sidelines. He's going to go out of bounds near the 38-yard line. And Paul Kahn almost caught up with him.
By Tony Femia and Jesse Jackson.
Paul Kahn came very close to getting a big paw on his shirt and ripping him down back for a loss, but Knowles showed good speed in picking up
5 from the 37-yard line.
About 2 or 3 yards. That'll bring up third down, 5 to go as we near the end of the first quarter. 6-6 the score. Both teams scored on their first possessions. Here we go. 3rd and 5 as Knowles, the quarterback, has the man behind him in a big hole and breaking loose and nearly down the sidelines before he stepped out of bounds. Anthony Crawford, and one man between him and the goal line was Alonzo Vance, and he was able to push him out.
That's a 6th first down, and he's piled up 27 yards and 3 carries.
They have 3 guys who can carry the football. Kirk and Crawford and Jones, all big running backs. First down for JFK. Into Tiger territory again at about the 48-yard line, and a timeout taken here. Timeout called by Dwight Knowles, the quarterback for JFK. He saw something he didn't like, and so the time was called, and we have 1:52 to go here in the first quarter of action from Arlen Field. And again, I'll repeat, if you're looking across the field, as you are now and then on the shot from our camera, you see that there aren't a lot of people in the stands on that north side of the field, but believe me, down below us, although we can't catch it with our camera angle, the crowd is good. Good crowd on the home side of the field for the Tigers, and there are plenty of home games, too, for you to get here and see the Tigers play. They play next at home against Cleveland Collinwood. That's on September the 7th. They then don't play at home until September the 28th when they meet Ashland, followed by homecoming against Marion, then Youngstown Rayen on October the 12th, and they wind up the season here at Island Field against Lexington.
Well, they just announced the future looks pretty good for the Tigers. The freshmen defeated Willard 40-6.
That's nice news.
Yes.
Here we go. 1st and 10, 6-6 ball game with the football. Knowles, the quarterback, handoff up inside to Jones. Gets 2 or 3 tough yards before Paul Kahn drops him at the 44-yard line.
2nd and 7 for the Eagles.
Second down, between 6 and 7 yards to go. The voice you hear in the background, sometimes drowning us out, is that of Jack Soliday. Remember that name, Dick Edmonds?
Soliday.
Yeah, he was a pretty good athlete. Second down, 6 to go. Knowles, the quarterback, and hands off, and this time Crawford was stood up and thrown back at about the 45-yard line. The Tigers were waiting for him that time. Tritico, and again, Jesse Jackson.
Well, already, this early in the season, you start seeing somebody, and Jackson is the one I'm seeing quite a bit of right now. He's pretty impressive here in the opener.
Jesse Jackson, under a minute to go, by the way, here in the first quarter. 3rd down, 7 to go. We might watch for a pass this time. Quarterback is Dwight Knowles. The ball at the 45-yard line. Fakes it, rolls back. He's looking downfield. He throws. It's underthrown. It is caught on a beautiful comeback catch. He took it right away from Alex Rawls. And the man who did it was George Jones. George Jones took the ball away from Alex Rawls at about the 12-yard line. A great effort by a little guy. In fact, 2 little guys going against one another. They looked about the same size. Rawls is only 5'6", 140. Here we go. They're up to the ball now with 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Knowles Up the middle to Jones, Andre Jones this time. He goes across
Andre Jones, the ball
the
carrier.
10 to about the 9-yard line. Picked up maybe 3 yards. And that may be the last play of the quarter. In fact, it will be. That's going to wind it up the end of the first quarter here at Ireland Field in the first game of the year with the score Mansfield Sr. 6, JFK 6, but JFK is threatening it. We'll be back with second quarter action after this word.
What sets a pre-owned car from Scarl Pontiac Buick apart from the rest? Well, we won't sell you an auction vehicle, one that you know nothing about. Our pre-owned cars are locally owned trade-ins, and we'll be happy to tell you the name of the previous owner. That's important when you want to know more than just what the salesman tells you. For a new Buick or Pontiac, or a pre-owned car you can trust, come to Scarl's.
I'm Kurt Scarl, and thanks for your business.
MTS, Musitronics Services, a subsidiary of WVNO Radio, has an immediate opening for a technician installer. Experience in communication, installation, or electronics industry is desirable, and 2 years of technical school or equivalent work experience is required. You'll be involved in communication system installation and broadcast station maintenance. Apply in person at Musitronics Services, 2900 Park Avenue West, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
And we're back at Ireland Field here, just about to start the second quarter. The score 6-6. However, JFK threatening second down and goal to go. Well, actually not second down and goal to go. Second down and 8 yards to go. The ball at about the 9-yard line, and they have been moving it at will. Crawford, the neat man in the eye, but the handoff up the middle to number 30, Andre Jones, and he's stacked up at about the 7-yard line.
Going to pick up about 2. That gives him 32 yards and 7 carries.
Jones and Crawford, 30 and 33 are the running backs for JFK. Tigers bring in some defensive replacements. Third down, 5 to go at about the 7-yard line. And the Tigers trying to stop this very potent JFK offense. This is their second time they've had the ball, and they're threatening again. Split backfield behind the quarterback, Knowles. Knowles rolling to his right. He's got open field in front of him. He's at the 2. He's into the end zone. Touchdown. Sophomore quarterback Dwight Knowles with a pretty good piece of faking. Put it on his hip and rolled into the end zone behind a pretty good block from one of his upbacks. And for the second time, JFK has gone on the board. It's now 12-6. That score comes with 11 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first half of action from Ireland Field. This could be one of those games, Dick, where the last team to get the ball wins.
It looks that. I was just going to tell you that Kirk is standing over there beside the coach. I thought he wanted to come in.
They're going for 2. Knowles, the quarterback, rolling back, looking for the man in the end zone. He's wide open. He's out of the end zone. Out by about a foot. Chris Kern looking at George Jones as he caught the ball, but when he came down, his feet, both of them, touched touchdown, and that is it in terms of nobody's been able to score extra points here.
8 first downs, by the way, Mike. They've got 8 first downs already, and we're just slipping into the second quarter.
Well, the Tigers have not looked very impressive defensively at all, as they have been chewed up pretty well. And, you know, looking down that offensive, or make that defensive line for the Tigers, size could be a factor here. They are not a very big unit.
And JFK has some size. They don't have numbers, but they have some size.
Well, we've got double Alonzo's back to receive the kick for the Tigers. Number 2 is Gilmore. Number 37 is Vance for the Tigers. As Cleveland JFK prepares to kick off, it's going to be Cornelius Green. There's a familiar name.
Say, where did we hear that from? But I don't think he kicked off.
I don't think so. And here comes the kick. It's a short one off the side of his foot. Coming up to field it is a Vance at the 25-30, straight up the middle, across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That's where they returned the kickoff the last time. So again, they start with very good field position. Alonzo Vance.
He's brought down by...
He's a senior, 6 feet, 170-pound defensive back.
Chris Hubbard. Tigers
limping
over first and 10.
Just a little bit for the Tigers is Jason Tate, number 38. He's limping to the sidelines. He was injured on the return of that kick. And now wait till he gets off the sidelines. And here come the Tigers, trailing 12-6 with 10:56 remaining in the half. Jamal Hawkins, the quarterback. Hawkins off to Vavra again, the sophomore fullback.
Mike Vavra, the ball carrier,
with
brought down by Andre Jones.
Another good opening over left guard and tackle. Takes it across the 45.
And pick up 4. That's 33 yards and 6 carries. He's carried all the rushing plays with the exception of 1.
4-yard pickup, second down, 6 to go. Wide to the right goes Jason Goings. Hawkins off to Coe. Coe with good yardage, 35, 40, into JFK territory at about the 31-yard line. James Toppy Coe.
Steps out of bounds.
A little misdirection play. He's spurted loose.
43-yard line.
He's just a junior, by the way.
About 16 yards on that play.
6 feet, 160 pounds.
First
They call him Toppy. I don't know why, but that's his nickname, and he was tippy-toeing down the sidelines that time. First and 10 Tigers. They continue to move the ball. Nobody can stop anybody. The ball at the 43-yard line. Gilmore in motion, and flags are all over. This play is dead, I can promise you that.
Please don't catch those. Let's bring it back and let's run it again.
Makes it feel worse if they do catch it.
That's going to be the second penalty on Mansfield Sr. for 20 yards. It's going to bring up a 1st and 15.
Clock stopped at 10:08 here in the first half.
Now, wait a minute. They're talking to Hawkins. It's against JFK.
Maybe he should have caught it.
Run that back again, man.
Yeah. I take back everything I said there.
Illegal participation against
illegal participation or substitution, or maybe they had too many people on the field.
15-yard penalty marked off from the line of scrimmage.
In any event, that's a big call.
Yes.
And I'd have to talk to Greg Garrick, the referee, to really understand that one. But it's nevertheless the Tigers' ball at the JFK 27-yard line. They move it again, the Tigers do. We've got double outs on the wide side. Jamal Hawkins up the middle to Tippy Coe, make that Toppy Coe inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Brought down by Eric Pitts, who's another one of those Eagles who go both ways. Pitts plays defensive back on defense and right guard on offense.
Coe's got 28 yards and 3 carries. That was the third penalty for 25 yards, JFK.
2nd and 7. Hawkins, the quarterback. Gilmore to the near side in the slot is Mayer, and again whistles blow and flags fly.
Well, this time I think it is motion. I think we've got motion on Mansfield Sr.
The Tigers send the plays in and out with their split ends. Number 84 is the fellow who caught the touchdown pass earlier. That was Jim Mayer. And number 11 alternates with him, Jason Goins. Goins, a 6 foot, 155-pound senior. And Mayer is almost the same size, weighs 5 pounds more, and is also a senior. Again, the penalty was against the Tigers. That'll make it 2nd down, 12 to go for Mansfield Sr. The ball at about the 28-yard line of JFK. And Hawkins rolling to his right. Down the line, looking for one block. He's at the 25 to the 20 and out of bounds near the 18-yard line.
The ball carrier.
Jamal Hawkins out in front of him.
Knocked out of bounds.
Number 55, Larry Shears. But good pickup.
About 10 yards, pretty close.
Sizable yardage for Jamal Hawkins. We told you he has good speed, and they utilize it.
3rd and 2 for the Tigers.
Into the ballgame now is number 82, Andy Tritico, and he replaces tight end Mike Barr with the play. 3rd and 2. Deep man in the eye is Topico, and now we've got a timeout taken by the Tigers. Jamal Hawkins didn't like what he saw, and Steve Gilbert doesn't like what he's seeing as he comes toward the huddle. Timeout on the field with the score, the Tigers 6 and Cleveland JFK 12. We'll be back with more from Arlen Field right after these words.
First National Bank of Shelby, your hometown friend, wants you to know they care.
Hometown people, hometown people, we're hometown people that you know.
First National Bank of Shelby cares about their community, customers, employees, and you. Come visit one of their 5 convenient locations.
Sports Talk, that's the name of the program, and Mike Green, that's me. Every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, I'm right here with guests from the world of sports, and we take your calls live. It's a unique TV show, one that gives you the opportunity to get answers to the questions that may have been on your mind for some time from people like Joe Tate, OSU football coach Gary Blackney, and other familiar names from the world of sports. It's called Sports Talk, and it's right here on TV 50, Tuesdays at 7 with reruns Saturday and Sunday at 6. We hope you can join us.
9 minutes and 21 seconds to go here at Arlen. 12-6 JFK leads, but the Tigers on the move again with a third down and about 2. The ball at the 18-yard line. And it looks as though they're stacked in there pretty tight. Watch the fullback with the ball, and watch the movement in the backfield. Those are the things that definitely will give Steve Gilbert gray hair.
Legal procedure against Mansfield Sr.
Well, I guess those are the things, too, that you look for. First game of the season, I would imagine, especially a young team.
Gilmore, though, was the fellow who made the move, it looked as though, and he's a senior. What does that mean?
I guess we're not all perfect.
He gets one mistake on his birthday.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Well, that takes it back to about the 33, or make it the 23-yard line, and makes it third down and 7 to go, and changes your strategy just a bit. Mayer split way out to the near sideline, and the ball is snapped between the legs and the feet of Jamal Hawkins and fallen on by Topico. And the Tigers are self-destructing here.
11 for the Tigers.
That is not good at all. A little miscommunication there between Chris Spade, the center, and quarterback Jamal Hawkins. But it means it's now 4th down and 11 to go at the 27-yard line. And watch the pass by Hawkins. And he's rolling to the near sideline, looking down the sideline. Gilmore's there.
Open.
Gilmore is there, but a beautiful defensive play by number 81, Cornelius Green, as he tipped it away at the last second. Gilmore had to come back for it. Had he been led just a little bit more, it could have been 6 more points for the Tigers. But again, they proved they can move the ball, Dick.
Right. They just too many mistakes when they got right down there knocking on the door.
So the Eagles of JFK take over at their own 27-yard line, leading 12-6, 8 minutes and 43 seconds to go here in quarter number 2 from Arlen Field, the opener of the 1990 football season. Knowles, the quarterback for JFK, gives it off to Andrews. Andrews breaks loose, 40, 45, 50. He won't be caught, I don't believe, but he stepped out of bounds.
Anthony Crawford, the ball carrier.
Really going to mark it.
Out of bounds on his own.
He had the first down, but he stepped out of bounds. I said he wouldn't have been caught, but I tell you, Alonzo Vance was closing on him and had the angle. He may have been able to run him down. But this is a big fella, this number 33. We don't have the weights, as I said, but Anthony Crawford is one big back, and he replaced a guy who was big and talented himself in number 44, George Kirk. Curtis Kirk, pardon me. 1st and 10 for JFK at their own 40. Up the middle goes Jones. Jones, 45 midfield. Tiger territory to the 45. And they are just chewing up the middle of that Tiger defensive unit.
Flag on the play. JFK starting to destruct now themselves.
Well, the Tigers can thank themselves for that, or thank JFK for that, because that negates a very big gain. But of course, maybe that's why he was in the open. Somebody grabbed a hold of somebody else. That's going to take the ball back into Eagle territory.
That's 4 penalties for 40 yards already for JFK.
By the way, next week, Dick and I will be at Lexington to bring you the Lexington-Shelby game, and Brian Harder and his partner Mike will be over in Ashland for the Arrows and the Galleon Tigers. That'll be next week's TV 50 Sports Weekend featured games. First and 20 now for the Eagles of JFK as Dwight Knowles, the sophomore quarterback, brings his club out. Knowles on the handback to George Jones, and nothing.
They read that one good.
Cracked down, I believe, by Tony Famia.
Down by Tony Famia.
Tony's a senior linebacker, and Steve Gilbert told me that he's been playing very, very well here in the preseason. Not a big guy, but he must be tough. Another young fella that the coach is very high on is number 89, Paul Kahn. He's just a junior. Famia is a senior. No gain in the play. It's going to be second down, 20 yards to go, and I think we're having a little discussion here again.
JFK came up to the line and then waited around a little bit.
Second and 20. Dwight Knowles, the quarterback, and up the middle comes the Tiger rush. He's rolling and throws a little bit behind his intended receiver. Eric
Stitt. Intended for Eric Stitt is incomplete. Jesse Jackson defending on the play.
Again, Jesse Jackson right around the football.
For the Fighting Eagles from their own 29-yard line.
I believe that the more famous Jesse Jackson was a football player himself. In fact, his son, I don't know whether his son's name is Jesse, but he plays linebacker for the University of Virginia. So maybe Jesse Jackson's and family play football very, very well. Third down, 20 to go. Tigers are going to be in that prevent defense. You can bet on that. 7:44 to go first half. The clock is stopped. And the pitch back. We're going to have a attempted pass by Crawford. It is almost caught and dropped by George Jones.
They're 1 for 5 now in the air. So it's fourth down, so we've had both teams stop each other for the first time tonight.
Their own 29-yard line.
Now we'll see what the punter's like.
We haven't seen a punt yet in the 1990 season. We're going to see our first punt of the evening. And the man who does the kicking is Chris Hubbard. He's a tight end, just a sophomore.
Lonzo Vance back to gather it in.
Standing at about his own 40-yard line.
Chris Hubbard to punt.
And Vance, or beg your pardon, Hubbard will kick it away. Bad snap. Still gets the kick away. Not a good one. But the fact that he got it away was amazing. It goes out of bounds right at around the 40-yard line.
Hubbard's punt goes out of bounds.
Excellent field position now.
So the Tigers will get another opportunity to knot things up here. They trail by a score of 12-6 with 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half from Harlan Field. We'll have those band shows, or the band show with the Tiger Band for you at halftime. And Dick Edmond will have some statistics as well. And there goes Vavra. Vavra off right tackle across the 40 into the 35 near the 30-yard line. Tony Vavra is having himself quite a first half. He's a sophomore.
Picked up 9. He's got 42 yards and 7 carries.
5'9", 160-pounder, but he runs with some authority. Picks up 9. It's second down and a yard to go for the first down. High formation behind Jamal. Hawkins again to Vavra. He's got the first down. Mike Vavra, not Tony. I may have said Tony a moment ago. Picks up the first down.
That's very good for a Tiger first down on the Fighting Eagles.
He'll pick up 4 more. That gives him 46 yards and 8 carries.
Here comes Jim Marin with the play to Jamal Hawkins. 6:47 to go, first half. 12-6, JFK leading the Tigers, but the Mansfielders on the move. Hawkins to Coe. Boomed in the backfield, and to the ground he goes. The man who knocked him down was Jamal King. King is a center on the offense, plays a little defensive line as well, and he knifed through there to knock down Coe for a loss in the play. Now we've got an official timeout here.
Equipment repair. Yeah, Mike Valvera with 46 yards and 8 carries. He's only a sophomore. And the thing that's impressive about him is when he gets open field, but then when they start swarming, he puts the old head down and just bowls for a couple extra yards, and that's excellent for a sophomore.
2nd and 13, and the fumble by Hawkins is fallen on by the quarterback himself. But these are the types of things that kill drives in a hurry. It was just about this same spot of the field where they bogged down the last time.
Now we have a flag, too. And they're pointing to JFK. Whatever that means. Is that a...
flag is waved off.
They waved it off.
Apparently it fell out of the pocket of one of the linesmen. And so it's going to be 2nd down and 13 again. I beg your pardon. I think it should be 3rd down, should it not?
Timeout.
Maybe not.
JFK.
Cleveland JFK is going to take a timeout here, and we need it here just to clear our brains and figure out what the heck's happening. Jamal Hawkins comes to the sideline, or about halfway to the sidelines, and confers with Coach Steve Gilbert. Steve, as I said, is in about his 4th year, I believe, as head coach of Mansfield Sr. Of course, his 2nd year as head coach of the Consolidated Schools. He had 80 men dressed for tonight's game. 8 of the 80 are all that are lettermen. So as you can tell, from an experience standpoint, he doesn't have a lot to work with, but he feels that he has some talent. He's playing a lot of young men. I said 8 of the 11 starters on the offense are starting their very first varsity game. In fact, the only one who is not starting his first varsity game, 2 of them, Jamal Hawkins and Alonzo Gilmore. Gilmore playing the slot back, and of course Hawkins the quarterback. Here we go, 2nd down and 15. I think it should be 3rd down. I still think they're down behind, and again a fumble. Pitch back to Coe. Coe gets a block. Coe cuts it up inside the 30 to the 25, 24-yard line, but there's sloppy ball handling. And Jamal Hawkins is signaling to the sidelines that he's not getting the snap. And that's pretty obvious.
He's got 27 yards and 6 carries.
Clock ticking away here in the first half. 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
4th and 8 from the 24-yard line.
Well, now the announcer told him 4th. It says 3rd down on the scoreboard. I think they've changed it on the yard line marker.
All right, here we go. 4th down, 15 to go. Hawkins rolling to his right, looking. Gilmore's in the open again, but Hawkins is going to run it. Tucks it under. He's into the 15 and knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Very close to the first down. I think he got it. He did.
But not before he picks up a Tiger first down.
Jamal Hawkins with a Tiger first down.
That was a big one.
That was a big play.
4th down play. You can see speed there.
Speed at a couple of spots. Gilmore was taking the quarterback with him, and the quarterback couldn't afford to come up and try to play the quarterback, and Jamal was able to turn it up and get the first down. It is at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Up the middle goes Vavra. Vavra the 10 to the 5, down to the 3-yard line.
Vavra, the ball carrier.
What a first half he's having.
Down to the 2-yard line will be 1st and goal, Tigers.
Mike Vavra has been the main man offensively for the Tigers.
Now he's just caught Kirk with the leadership for yardage tonight. He's got 58 yards now in 9 carries.
And the ball is at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for the Tigers as they bid to tie it up here with 4:50 to go in the first half. Hawkins to Vavra, touchdown Tigers. Vavra off left tackle and guard. Nobody was there until he hit the end zone. But the Tigers tie it up now, 12-12. That comes with 4 minutes and 47 seconds to go in the first half. Now we'll see if somebody can make an extra point here.
Break the ice.
Jamal
Hawkins does the kicking. Alonzo Gilmore to hold. The ball is spotted. The kick is up, and I don't think it's good. No, it's off to the right. And it remains tied.
Making the score, Mansfield Sr.
neither team can buy that extra point. Pretty good drive there, Dick.
Right, and they came up with a big play when they needed it, and Hawkins is really showing the way at quarterback. You know, he's showing what type of a leader he is. He knew what to do with that football, where to go with it, and he was watching where he had to get the first down, and he's carried the ball twice for 21 yards. Two big plays. He's picked up 10 and 11 yards when he's had to take the ball himself. It's a pretty impressive young man.
12-12. Hawkins has figured in both of them. A 28-yard pass to Jim Mayer. A 2-yard run by Mike Vavra. Have accounted for the scoring as far as the Tigers are concerned.
Might mention, too, that Hawkins also has a 28-yard pass.
Correct, to Jim Mayer.
Right.
George Jones.
Here we go. Hawkins is going to kick off. He's a busy man. The ball at the 40-yard line, and it's a good boot. Andrews goes back and takes it at his 4. Starts up the middle. And he is, is dropped. What a tackle by Marlon Davison.
He knocked the mouthpiece out. I saw the mouthpiece come out.
Well, I think it was Marlon Davison. It might have been number 90, Dwayne Bradley.
I think it was Bradley.
It was number 90, not number 80. Dwayne Bradley, just a sophomore, and he knocked Mr. Andrews, or I beg your pardon, Mr. Crawford's mouthpiece right out of his jaws.
And that gets you fired up. That gets the old defense going.
Goes to the ball just short of the 20-yard line as the Eagles of JFK come out with the score tied 12-12. Fumble. I think the Tigers have it. I believe the Tigers got the fumble by Anthony Crawford. They do. Let's see who gets up off the bottom of the pile. Can you tell us?
Well, let's see. They're surrounding him there. Looks like number 66.
And number 66 is Donovan Powers. He's a 5'9", 180-pound senior. And the Tigers with a big break. Their biggest break to this point. They've got it at the JFK 18 with 4 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the half. Score tied 12-12. And now we've got an official timeout again. I know it's not a television timeout because we didn't call for it.
Well, that big hit, that it really fires up a team, something like that, and I'm telling you, he hit him. You could just see that mouthpiece fly, and something like that's what you need early in the season. You need a young guy like that to kind of make a trademark out of himself, and pretty soon you get it going, especially when you got a young team and you're trying to build.
All right, the Tigers ready to go. They've got the ball at the JFK 18-yard line. Gilmore wide to the right, Mayer to the bottom of the screen, and the handoff to Vavra again, and pretty good yardage for the young man inside the 15-yard line.
Brought down by Charles James.
Picked up 5.
Vavra continues to roll. Don't forget that Burger King Slow Pitch World Series of Softball out at Cyclops Field all weekend long. Final game tomorrow at 4. Here we go, pickup of 4. 2nd down, 6 to go. Gilmore to the bottom of your screen. Hawkins the quarterback. Hawkins rolling down the line. He's going to be hemmed in. He's going to be thrown down for a loss. The pitchman got a little bit out in front of him that time, Dick, and he couldn't get rid of the football.
And the smart quarterback that he is and the experience that he has, he held on to the ball instead of foolishly trying to throw it and turning the ball over.
So that loss is about 3 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down, 9 to go. The ball at the 12, make that about the 17-yard line. Hawkins straight back to throw this time. He's looking. He's got Gilmore open at about the 12. He hits him, but he's dropped immediately. The man in the stop is Cornelius. I beg your pardon. I think it was number 31. But Terry Green, not Cornelius Green. They may be brothers. Pick up just a couple of yards there. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 4.5 to go for the Tigers, and it looks as though they're going to go for it. Goings comes in with a play from the sideline. He's the split end. He and Gilmore go to the same side.
Don't be surprised to see Hawkins carry it.
Hawkins looks over the defense. 4th down, 4 to go. Hawkins rolls to his right again. He wants to throw. He does throw, but it's overthrown. And that's going to turn it over. Goings was the intended receiver, but it was incomplete from the time it left his hands. So a wasted opportunity there. They recover the football deep in JFK territory, but they can't turn it into points. 2:32 to go in half number 1 here at Island Field. And here comes JFK out over the football at their own 12-yard line. Dwayne Knowles, the quarterback, up the middle and nowhere to go. Andre Jones. Middle of the Tiger defensive unit, right there to meet him, led by number 89, Paul Kahn.
Defense is looking a lot stronger. They seem to be starting to read now the JFK offense a little bit better than they did at the very beginning. Starting to swarm a little bit.
And it looks as though there's a little bit of lethargy creeping into the JFK players. Again, a lot of them go both ways. 2nd down and 9. Quarterback on a keeper comes to the near side. He's got some running room too. At the 20, across to the 30 to the 32-yard line goes sophomore Dwight Knowles. And again, Paul Kahn in on the tackle along with John Morris. But it's a 1st down for the Eagles. Clock ticking, minute and 50 remaining in the first half. That was a 20-yard pickup from the 12 to the 32 for quarterback Dwight Knowles.
10 first downs for JFK here in the first half.
And here they come over the football. The Eagles of Cleveland JFK. Knowles, the handoff to Crawford. Crawford breaks the tackle, keeps breaking tackles. 40, straight ahead, across to midfield, and what an effort by Anthony Crawford.
Anthony Crawford, the ball carrier.
You can't say too much about that effort. Jason Tate finally was able to slam him to the ground, but Tiger tacklers were bouncing off him as if they were balls of cotton.
Well, I'll tell you, they had a lot of missed tackles, though, on that play. I'm sure the head coach is going to be talking to the players when they review these films, because about 3 of them should have stopped him trying to tackle him too high, not get down to the legs.
Ball at the 49-yard line. JFK going to probably try to put some points on the board, and Knowles is back to throw, and he wants to throw deep, and he does. It is...
They're going to call pass interference.
It is almost intercepted, but I'll tell you, number 4, Alex Rawls was bumping that JFK receiver, number 22, George Jones, pretty good as he went down the field, and it was a fairly obvious call. No doubt about it. We're going to get an interference call against Alex Rawls. And that's going to give Cleveland JFK excellent field position with about 51 seconds to go in the first half. We've got a tie ball game, 12-12, on a beautiful August evening
15-yard penalty.
in Mansfield, Ohio. Hope you're enjoying the play. Don't forget, we've got the second half of this game and another game to follow. The Shelby-Madison game on TV50 Sports Weekend, and we'll have Brian Harder between games as well.
35-yard line.
Now that's the kind of penalty that really punishes the offense, because in other circles of football, the ball would have been brought down to where the interference was, and they lost about 10 yards there. High school football, it's just 15 yards.
The ball at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for JFK, and back goes Knowles, firing again, and waiting for it, and dropping it was Alex Rawls. A chance to atone for his mistake, and he perhaps was a little over-anxious. As the ball hits his chest and bounces away, it was underthrown. And I'll tell you the thing about it, Dick, he had a couple of blockers out in front of him.
I think that's what he was thinking. He probably saw all that green grass and no one out there, and it looked like about a 90 or 85-yard touchdown run, and he was running before he caught it.
So they'll try again, and they're probably going to keep putting it up. 45 seconds to go, first half. 2nd and 10, 35.5-yard line, and Knowles to throw. And we've got a screen set up on the far sideline, and Crawford has it. Crawford breaks a tackle. He's going to be run out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. Tony Famia missed him at about the 22-yard line, but it's a first down. That was a well-executed screen play.
Yes, it was.
I've always liked that play, and I think oftentimes you don't see it enough in high school action. Anthony Crawford with the carry into the 16-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 10 from there for Cleveland JFK. Over the football they come and watch for Knowles, although they might try to cross him up here with a little draw play. And they do. Crawford gets it. Crawford inside the 15 to the 14, but good defensive effort. The man who was able to wrestle him to the ground was Andy Tritico. Andy Tritico got a hold of his jersey, and he wasn't about to let go. Timeout JFK here, 24 seconds remaining in the first half. 12-12 score, but JFK is threatening.
It's an important series here now for an important 24 seconds for this defense. If they can just head to the locker room with the tie here, they played a pretty good first half when you consider the inexperience that Mansfield Sr. is facing this year with the lack of letterman back. And it'll be 12-12 at halftime, and if they can hold here, give them a little extra shove.
Especially when we've seen the skilled position players, especially the running backs for JFK. I've been impressed with all three of their runners, Jones and Crawford, and of course the young man who left the game after about 56 yards picked up in the first series. That was Curtis Kirk. He hasn't been back since.
And he looks as though he's all right. He walks along the sideline over there, and he's not sitting down or anything with a leg up or anything. He's right by the coach a lot. Here we go, Mike.
Ready to go with a 2nd down and 8 to go. And up the middle goes Jones. He's into the 10 to the 5. He's in for the score. And I'll tell you, once again, one of those big JFK running backs just shredded the left side of the Tiger defense. That time it was number 30, Andre Jones. He is a senior tailback.
That's his 2nd touchdown of the night. He's got 2 of them tonight.
A sprint into the end zone of about 14 yards. With 18 seconds remaining, JFK goes out on top once again, 18-12, and we have yet to have any extra points put on the board. And now they're sending Mr. Crawford to the sideline because he needs a new jersey.
And we have no time on the clock. We got 12. Well, here we go.
Yeah, I think they put it back to 18 seconds. They're going to go for 2 again. Wide to the near side is number 22, George Jones, and he's been the fella they've tried to throw to each time. Let's see what happens this time. Knowles is the quarterback. Knowles rolling to his right. He wants Jones again. It's thrown. It is tipped away. In fact, it's intercepted in the end zone to no avail. And so the Tigers once again are able to keep the Eagles from putting any extra points on the board, but 3 touchdowns means that JFK's Eagles lead the Mansfield Senior High Tigers by a score of 18-12. We have 18 seconds remaining in the first half. From Island Field, Mike Green and Dick Edmond will be with you each and every Friday night for the next 10 weeks at least. After that, it's tournament play or playoff time, and not tournament play, I guess that's basketball. Playoff time in football.
Cornelius Green will kick
well,
off.
Jones has got 46 yards and 14 carries, but more important, Andre Jones has scored 2 of the 3 touchdowns. 1 at 10 yards and 1 for 14.
Cornelius Green ready to kick off to Gilmore and Vance, the 2 Alonzos, deep for the Tigers. And it's going to be Gilmore down near one knee at the 15, 20, 25, 30, into the 35-yard line. I'll tell you, he was very close to touching that knee down, and I know the official on the far side was looking closely to make sure that he did not.
This one? This one?
So the Tigers, about the 34-yard line, they've got time for another play. I doubt very much whether they risk putting it up, but they might. Trailing 18-12. Jamal Hawkins, Tiger quarterback.
It'd be a lot easier to adjust the camera.
Got Mayer to the near side. Wide to the far side is Gilmore, and Hawkins is going to throw it. looking, and he's going to really fire it deep and overthrows Mayer down and around the 25-yard line of JFK. And that's going to run out the clock here in the first half of action.
At the end of the first
half of high school football in the 1990s for Mansfield Sr. High School and Cleveland JFK is complete. And our score at halftime, JFK 18 and the Mansfield Tigers 12. And we'll be back with halftime activities. The Tigers marching band will be performing, and we'll also have some of the statistics from halftime. So stay with us. We'll be back right after these words.
Planning a party? There's only one place to go, and that's Schaefer's Party Stores, with 2 locations in Mansfield. On Lexington Avenue, that's the newest, and you'll find everything you need to celebrate. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for birthdays. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for weddings. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for anniversaries. Yes, think Schaefer's Party Stores for every occasion. Schaefer's, your party and paper specialist in Mansfield and Sandusky. They have something for every holiday, too.
WVNO plays light rock favorites of the 60s, 70s, and today, all on compact disc, like Phil Collins, Whitney Houston, Dan Fogelberg.
Longer than Biffin' Fish.
It's the custom CD music mix on 106.1 FM WVNO.
We hope you're enjoying the Tigers' home and season opener with Cleveland JFK. The Eagles hold an 18-12 lead and seem to be in control of the game, at least to this point. We will be back with Mike and Dick in just a few moments, but first, let's take a look at some of the other scores from Friday night's action. The Lexington Minutemen defeated Ontario 24-6. Gallion downed Ashland 33-6. It was Clear Fork over Fredericktown 35-7, and Lucas was defeated by South Central by a score of 34-14. We will have more details from these and other games from Friday night after the Tigers-Eagles game that you are watching now. Don't forget to stay tuned to TV 50 Sports Weekend as Mike Raymond and I bring you the Madison-Shelby game, which was played at Skiles Field in Shelby. We're going to go back to Arlen Field and rejoin Mike and Dick after this short break. Stay with us. There is more yet to come on TV 50 Sports Weekend.
I found the house I want to buy, but I don't have quite enough cash for the down payment. I need an FHA loan.
Call Mayor Mortgage.
I qualify for a VA loan with no down payment. But where do I go to get one?
Go to Mayor Mortgage.
With my financial maturity, I certainly should qualify for a low interest rate home loan. But where do I go to find one?
Try Mayor Mortgage.
I've had some slow credit. I'd pay a higher interest rate to own my own house. But who in Mansfield's going to give me the chance?
For all your commercial and home mortgage needs, contact Mayor Mortgage at 270 Lexington Avenue in Mansfield. Just call 756-6927. That's 756-6927.
Justin's Art Carved Studio 1. Visit Duncan Jewelers for your class ring, cause Duncan's got just the thing. If you're in town or at the mall, Duncan Jewelers is the place to see it all. Area high schools, if you want to be cool, go straight to Duncan's after school. A wide selection, sell prices too. Duncan Jewelers has the class ring for you. For the best memory of your high school days, go to Duncan Jewelers, cause it really pays.
MTS, Musitronic Services, a subsidiary of WVNO Radio, has an immediate opening for a technician installer. Experience in communication, installation, or electronics industry is desirable, and 2 years of technical school or equivalent work experience is required. You'll be involved in communication system installation and broadcast station maintenance. Apply in person at Musitronic Services, 2900 Park Avenue West, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
late 80s is familiar with this Henry Mancini tune in the swing style. Watch the band and join them as they swing and sway to the Pink Panther. Of our new assistant band director, Charles Bradley, from Ohio University, the band closes a halftime show with one of their all-time favorite tunes and routines, which we borrowed from the Ohio University Band. Here is Long Train Runnin'.
Hearing and understanding conversation in noisy places, what I went through. Now with my tiny bell-tone petites, I hear everything, and you can hardly see them. My good life goes on. Yours can too. Call Beltone now. Have your hearing tested by a trained specialist. It's free during Beltone's 50th anniversary.
Beltone in Mansfield, Mount Vernon, Ashland, and Norwalk. Call the location nearest you.
Hi, this is Rick Prebick. If you would like your kids group to be a part of our live studio audience for the taping of Wildlife Adventure, here's what you do. Call or write Mike Green here at TV50. Our phone number is 529-5900. Call between 9 and 5 if you would, and the address is TV50, 2900 Park Avenue West, Mansfield, 44906. He'll give you the details, and Susie Rapp and I will be looking forward to seeing you. So be a part of the fun on Wildlife Adventure.
Well, in the first half, JFK, looking down their list of statistics, they had 14 first downs. We had them for 192 yards rushing, 52 yards passing. That totals up to 244 yards. They fumbled the ball twice, lost it once, had 4 penalties for 40 yards. Individually, Kirk has 58 yards in 6 carries, and Crawford has 56 yards in 7 carries. So those are the 2 leaders, but Andre Jones has 46 in 9 and has 2 touchdowns to go along with his yardage. Passing-wise, Knowles is 2 for 7 for 52 yards. For a Mansfield Senior, they had 10 first downs, 109 yards on the ground, 31 yards in the air for 140 yards. They fumbled twice but recovered both of them. They had 4 penalties for 40 yards. And looking down the individual leaders, Mike Valver is having a great game in his opening game at 10 attempts for 63 yards. He scored a touchdown. James Coe has 29 yards and 7 carries. And Jamal Hawkins has 2 for 5 for 31 yards, including a touchdown pass that went 28 yards to Jim Mayer. So at halftime, we have the score at 18-12 in favor of JFK. Mike?
Well, again, Tigers have had their difficulties on defense. Seemed to shore things up there midway through the second period, and then got caught there in that last series to fall behind by the touchdown. Nobody has been able to score an extra point, however.
That's been the big problem all night is kicking. I think we've had a couple decent punts, but kicking game for both teams, just letting both teams down, and that could decide this game because both teams have already demonstrated they can put points on the board, on the ground, and in the air. So the extra points will become very, very important.
We're talking about the youth of the Tigers, and I don't want to belabor it, but I will tell you that 42 of the 80 men dressed are sophomores, and 3 of those are starters. And of course, one of them, Mike Vavra, has probably been the outstanding performer to this point in the game, offensively at least. And I would have to say that we'd have to single out Jesse Jackson,
right.
Maybe.
Jesse Jackson on defense. If we were giving out slacks or anything as player of the game, Jess.
Oh, we aren't yet?
No, not yet.
Incidentally,
unless you got an extra pair.
Next week, Dick and I will be in Lexington for the Shelby-Lexington game. Tonight, Friday night, Brian Harder and his sidekick were in Shelby for the Whippets opener against the Madison Rams. That game will follow this one here on TV50's Sports Weekend.
Might mention, too, we had an excellent halftime show, Mansfield Senior High School Marching Band, and next week, Lexington, as always, has the musical. They're an excellent band, and so is Shelby.
I'll tell you, Percy Hall here at Mansfield Senior's been here a long time and always does a great job with the Tiger Band, and the halftime show was, as Dick said, outstanding. Tigers are going to receive the kickoff to start the second half. It'll be Alonzo Vance and Alonzo Gilmore deep to receive for the Tigers at about their 13-yard line. Cornelius Green, the fellow whose namesake was a quarterback for Ohio State back about 15 or 20 years ago. It probably was that long, wasn't it? 20 years.
Has it been that long?
Cornelius Green. Remember they had a run of quarterbacks. Rod Gerald was a similar quarterback, and in any event, this particular Cornelius Green is a defensive end and wide receiver, I believe.
It kicks off
for Cleveland JFK's Fighting Eagles.
Had a lot of famous names here tonight. JFK.
They play in the Senate League, by the way. JFK does up in Cleveland against the likes of Collinwood. By the way, Collinwood will be right here at Island Field 2 weeks from tonight, and we'll be here too. There's the kick by Cornelius. It spins down at about the 15, takes a roll all the way down to the 5. Finally, Gilmore picks it up at the 5, back to the 10. Tries to get outside at the 15, but he's not going to make it quite that far as he is hit and down by number 90, Dwayne Sheely of Cleveland JFK.
I was afraid he wasn't going to pick it up.
It was a bad kick, but it turned out to be a pretty good kick as far as JFK is concerned.
A lot of those many times will squib right on out of bounds, and that's what a lot of the players look for, and then kick it over again with a 5-yard penalty.
So the Tigers begin play. Again, the quarterback is Jamal Hawkins. James Coe behind him, along with Mike Vavra. Coe, the tailback. And Hawkins with the handoff off the tackle to Vavra again, and again he gets pretty good yardage. Up to about the 19-yard line. Head down, and he does run. Once he sees a little daylight, he puts that head down, and he doesn't give an inch.
5 more yards. He's up to 68 yards. 11 carries.
Tight end is Mark Barr, number 42. Donovan Powers and Matt Brum again starting at tackles. Pickup was 5 at 2nd and 5 for the Tigers. To the near side, split out is Alonzo Gilmore, and the ball is fumbled by Hawkins again. That's about the 4th time tonight that he and the center have had trouble on the exchange. Each time the Tigers have been able to recover, but it's not good news. Chris Spade, number 76, I believe, is the center in there to start the second half, and he and Hawkins are having their problems. So it's 3rd and 5. Jim Mayer is the split end to this side. Hawkins, the quarterback, rolling to his left to the run with the ball at the 20, 23 or 4, and he's going to be very close to the first down. I think he has it.
He has it. They're going to mark it at the 25.
Chris Byrne has his foot at the 25-yard line, and that was just pure athleticism on the part of Jamal Hawkins. He outran the contain man and was able to get to the sidelines and pick up the first down, the first down of the second half for the Tigers. 18-12, JFK leads. I'm Mike Green. With me is Dick Edmond. We're at Island Field for the opener of the 90 season. 1st and 10 Tigers. Pitch out to Coe. He's got running room. 25, 30, 32-yard line. And James Toppy Coe with a pretty good pickup there before he is run down.
He got 36 yards and 8 carries.
Eric Pitts on the tackle for JFK.
Picked up 7. I'll make it 2nd and 3.
At the 32-yard line, 33-yard line. Tigers, 2nd and 3. Vavra again. Vavra across the 35. He's got the first down.
The ball carrier. Brought down by Maurice Fields.
Right over the 35.
Down on their own 36-yard line.
So the Tigers get their second first down in this drive. Hawkins coming to the sideline to get the play as it's run in by Goins, the alternating split end for Mansfield Sr. Goins and Gilmore go to the far sideline on a 1st and 10. Jamal Hawkins under center to Coe. Coe, not much yardage at all. Pitts on the tackle.
By Maurice Fields.
And also helping out was Maurice Fields. He's a defensive end for Cleveland JFK.
No gain.
They were waiting for that play. So we'll see if the Tigers put the ball in the air for the first time here in the second half on a 2nd down and 10 to go, or whether they try to chew up some yardage on the ground. And it looks as though it's going to be an inside reverse to Gilmore, and it's not going to fool anybody. In fact, they'll lose about a yard on that play. Gilmore from his slot back position came inside and tried to cut it off the left tackle, and a couple of the Eagles of JFK were waiting for him. And there's a loss on the play of a yard. It's 3rd and 11, a passing down for the Tigers. Jamal Hawkins, who has a 28-yard touchdown pass, but really not much other than that in the air. Hawkins rolling to his left, sets up, fires deep. He's got a man open. Has it at the 35-yard line. Beautifully thrown from
about a 26-yard pass play.
Jamal Hawkins to Jason Goins, a 6 foot, 155-pound senior. That ball was right where it had to be. Hit him in the hands. He cradled it, fell to the ground at the 36-yard line of JFK. 1st and 10 Tigers, and Hawkins was on the mark that time. There goes Vavra. Inside tackle to about the 30 or 28-yard line, actually off his right tackle. And I believe that was number 66 who opened the way for him. Number 66 would be Donovan Powers. He is replaced in the lineup right now by Jeremy Thomas at that right tackle position. 8-yard pickup, 2nd and 2 Tigers, as they roll toward what they hope will be a tying score. Hawkins to pass. Hawkins looks deep for Goings again. He's got him open.
Just
through his fingertips. Oh! Ever so close.
Pass intended for Jason Goins is incomplete. Andre Jones defending.
We were
brings up 3rd and 2 for the Tigers.
we were cut off by the post there. I'm kind of glad he didn't catch it, because you probably wouldn't have seen it. We're in the press box, the second tier of the press box here at Arlen Field, and unfortunately our camera angle is such that we have about a 4 or 5 yard piece of the end zone that we can't pick up, and that was where it went off his fingertips. Goings' fingertips, and it's going to be 3rd down and 2 to go for the Tigers as they move toward the tying score.
Oh, there he goes again.
And it's Vavra again, and he's got that 1st down and then some.
They are just ripping them apart on that right side.
That's very good for another Tiger.
Mike Vavra. 1st down, and it's down to the 23-yard line. 1st down, 10 yards to go for the Mansfield Senior High Tigers, trailing in this game 18-12 with 7 minutes 30 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Gilmore split to the bottom of your screen, backed out of the picture right now. Hawkins with the ball, hands off to Vavra again, a couple of yards, maybe 2, maybe not quite 2. Maurice Fields on the stop for JFK.
Well, I've done him for 15 carries for 85 yards.
Gain of 2 on the play.
We'll call it a 2-yard pickup. 2nd down and 8 to go. Tigers again. Split mare to the right. Flank out Gilmore, and Hawkins on the option play. Hawkins with a block. He's inside the 20. He's at the 15, down to the 13, and what a block by James Coe as he just decked number 28, Maurice Fields, and allowed Hawkins to turn the corner.
Close to a Tiger 1st down.
Very, very close to a Tiger 1st down.
They're going to measure.
Timeout for measurement.
We're going to measure to see whether or not he did indeed get the 1st down. Clock is stopped with 6:42 remaining, 3rd quarter, 18-12. Cleveland JFK on top, and they bring the chains from the far sidelines, and they're going to stretch them out and see whether or not they did indeed get the 1st down, and you can look for yourself. Doesn't look as though they quite made it. Just about 4 inches, signals Greg Garrick.
Hawkins carry leaves a 3rd and about 6.
So it'll be 3rd down, less than a foot to go, actually.
13-yard line.
The ball is at the 13. Jamal Hawkins, senior quarterback, trying to lead the Tigers back into this game. They trail by 6. We've had 5 touchdowns. Nobody scored any extra points.
Perfect play for a little pop pass.
I think I'd rather see him run for it and get that 1st down.
No gambling.
I hope it's not a pop center, as they've had a couple of times here. Now we're trying to get the chain set. I think they're about ready. JFK stacked in the middle there. They're expecting something between the tackles. Tony Vavra has been the man who's picked up the tough yardage. Let's see if he gets it again. We've got offsides as JFK anticipated the count a little bit too eagerly, and 2 of their defensive men jumped offside.
Defensive encroachment against
automatic first down for the Tigers, and so we don't have to worry about whether they're going to pass or whether they're going to run for it.
Down to the 8.
That'll take it into the 8-yard line, first and goal from that point. Now what you don't need is some mishandled snaps from center.
Or penalties. Go to that right side and let Valver take it in.
We'll see. Valver and Coe behind him with the ball. Hawkins, pitch out to Coe. He's running for the end zone. He's going to make it at the pylon. A very, very dangerous pitch, actually, from Jamal Hawkins to James Toppy Coe, and he takes it the 8 yards for the score to tie this game up at 18 apiece with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Now let's make an extra point.
I think that the JFK defensive men were expecting that ball to go to Vavra, and that just shows what will happen when you get one fella who's kind of pounded it up inside there. It opens things up to the outside. Now let's see if somebody can break the tie here. The ball is spotted. The ball is up. The ball is no good on the kick off the toe of Jamal Hawkins, and we're still tied. The score is 18 for Senior High, 18 for JFK, 6:20 to go in the third quarter, and we will return to Arlen Field after these words.
National Bank of Shelby, your hometown friend, wants you to know they care.
Hometown people, hometown people, we're hometown people that you know.
First National Bank of Shelby cares about their community, customers, employees, and you. Come visit one of their 5 convenient locations.
Teamwork is very important in sports. And at Scarl Pontiac Buick in Shelby, we think it's just as important. Take our service team, for instance. You need a good leader. A leader like Charlie Fisher. He's been with us since 1963. Our game plan is to make sure we offer the quality and convenience the customer deserves. That's why we use only genuine GM parts and are open Saturdays.
One more time. Service at Scarl's. It's the right call.
Were you with us when glamorous Allison Mayer Stern talked about her Mansfield to New York rags to riches story? Or when we learned firsthand what it's like to be a victim of domestic violence? Or when Major Jim Birch filled us in on what Richland County's law enforcement officers are doing to help keep our kids off of drugs? Hello, I'm Adriana Wilkinson, host of TV 50's Not for Women Only, where we cover a wide range of topics of interest to women, but definitely not for women only. Join us this week.
The business climate of this area is ever-changing, and the people affecting those changes also will affect you and me. Hi, I'm Doug Fager, and each week on a show called Richland Business, here on TV 50, I'll introduce you to some of those community, industry, and labor leaders, and we'll discuss where we've been and where we're going. That's Richland Business, Monday nights at 7:30, Saturday and Sunday at 5:30. Join us.
Well, an 8-yard run by James Coe tied the score, but again, Jamal Hawkins could not convert on the extra point, and we're tied at 18 apiece.
It was an 87-yard drive.
I tell you, Steve Gilbert has to be very pleased with the way they move the football.
Right.
And at that time, the offense was a little more evenly divided between Vavra and Coe, I would think. I don't know the statistics. You have them there.
And I think the defense, you look at 18 points, but still, they look better as time goes, in the first game, and it's got to get better as the season goes on.
Hawkins will kick off, and let's see him strike the ball. He hits those kickoffs. Too bad he can't hit the extra points the same way. The ball is taken at about the 7-yard line to the 20, 25, 26-yard line, but a flag is down. Flag is dropped by referee Greg Garrick. And I think that was number 33 again, Anthony Crawford, who returned it, but we're going to have
Brandon Lindsay's the one that wrapped him up.
Have it erased, though. It's going to be a clipping call. Blocking below the waist is the initial call.
Half the distance from the spot.
So that'll march pitch it back from the 22 at about the 11-yard line, and it's from that point that JFK will begin play. 6 minutes and 13 seconds to go, third quarter. You're in tune to TV 50 Sports Weekend. I'm Mike Green. With me is Dick Edmond. We're at Arlen Field. The opening game of the 1990 season for the Mansfield Tigers and Cleveland JFK's Eagles. And the Eagles have the football. They are 89 yards away from another score. Crawford, Stephen, we've got a fumble, and the Tigers have it? Handoff was to Jones, and as soon as he was hit, he fumbled the football. And I didn't see who recovered.
Brandon Lindsay, I believe.
Brandon Lindsay, you're right. So the Tigers are able to turn it over, or make the Eagles turn it over on defense. Brandon Lindsay, a junior, number 59, recovered the ball for the Tigers. And it'll be first down, 10 to go at the 11-yard line for Mansfield Sr. A chance to go ahead. Hawkins calling the signals, drops the ball, picks it up, moves ahead himself for a couple of yards. But again, a mistake, I guess, to be expected early in the season, but nevertheless, a little disconcerting to Coach Gilbert as he stands on the sideline, getting ready to send the play in with Jason Goins. Even with the fumble snap, they picked up 2 yards, so it's going to be second down, 9 to go.
And they can get the first down without scoring,
couple of yards, 1 yard, pardon me, and here they go. Second and 9 at about the 10.5-yard line. And the handoff to Vavra. Big hole, 5, 4, 3, and dumped at the 2-yard line. Tony Vavra, Mike Vavra, pardon me. And he gets tremendous acceleration once he hits that line of scrimmage. Very impressive young sophomore running back. Number 32, Mike Vavra.
94 yards.
Going to measure the football to see whether or not indeed he did make it.
What's impressive about him is only a sophomore, the things that he does. He doesn't look like a sophomore. Like on that run there, he got close to the goal line and twisted and tried to back in. And young players don't do that very often. That's got to please the head coach to see that type of action.
First down, Tigers. He runs big, too. He runs much bigger than his 5'9", 165 pounds. First and goal at the 1-yard line for the Tigers, who are hoping to take the lead for the first time in this 1990 season. And they're ready to go. Jamal Hawkins with the football to Vavra. Vavra, touchdown!
That's his second one of the night.
He was stuck at about the 1-yard line, stood up, but he still maintained that forward momentum, carried him into the end zone, and the Tigers move ahead by a score of 24-18, and it comes with 4 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Well, they took advantage of that fumble.
They sure did. Now,
here we go.
The drama begins to build again. Days of our kicks, I guess we could call that. Or this. It is almost blocked, but it's
That's
good.
it.
Hey, almost
bang. They're going wild downstairs.
You'd have thought somebody hit the lottery. Finally, on the sixth, or following the sixth touchdown of this ball game, we have an extra point scored. And with 4:49 to go, the Tigers have taken a 7-point lead, 25-18, in what has been a really very entertaining football game.
Well, if you like offense, and a lot of people do, if you want to come down and watch a 7-6 game, this is not for you. But I'll tell you, the two offenses are really moving the ball, and I think Mansfield Sr. starting to click defensively now. They've got a little fire in their eyes, and they're starting to find it.
So it's going to be Jamal Hawkins to kick off. And I really think that, and we can see some of those fans. By the way, we told you that across the field, not too many people in the stands, but down below us on the south side, we've got plenty of Tiger rooters. And there's the kick coming to Crawford at the 9. Anthony Crawford breaks to the outside. He's got a man to beat, but he can't beat him. Really stuck
Anthony Crawford.
By number 14, and that is Brian Forrest, who is a free safety on defense. Played containment and really popped Anthony Crawford and dropped him at the 26-yard line. And again, Dick, I think one of the things I alluded to early on is beginning to show now. JFK looks a little tired.
Right.
They send a lot of players both ways. About 7 or 8 of their fellas play both offense and defense. 4.5 minutes to go, third quarter. And a handoff almost taken by one of the Tigers in the backfield. As Dwight Knowles tried to get the ball to Crawford, but in there quickly was Jesse Jackson. He had help from number...
Donovan Powers, I believe, was the one that almost just took the handoff.
So that's a loss of 3 yards. Second and 13. The ball goes back to the 23-yard line, and we're under 4 minutes now remaining in the third quarter. And here comes Dwight Knowles up over the football, or under the center, who's over the football. Knowles up the middle, hands off, and a big hole over the middle as Andre Jones takes it across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Alonzo Vance in on the tackle for the Tigers.
Gain of 9 on the play brings up 3rd and 4.
They picked up a few yards. Take it back to 3rd down now, and
6 or 7 on that one.
4 to go.
For equipment repair.
We've got an official's timeout for an equipment repair.
I think the big thing defensively, Mike, is Mansfield's now starting to tackle at the legs instead of early. You could see that first game type of thing that coaches don't like is grabbing at the shirts, and that's starting to stop now, and they're starting to get the message across.
Looks like the linebackers are beginning to fill a little bit, too. They were nowhere to be found in a few plays in the first half. 3rd down, 4 to go. JFK handoff to Crawford. Crawford is going to lose yardage. Tony Famia in the backfield, and he was able to grab him around the ankles, as Dick just mentioned. Snapped those ankles together, and down went big Anthony Crawford for a loss in the play. And the Eagles of JFK are going to have to punt the football away. Exactly 3 minutes to go. 25-18, Tigers lead third quarter.
So far, an excellent quarter for the Tigers.
For the Fighting Eagles.
Alonzo Vance waiting to see if indeed they're going to punt, and they are. Now we've got another official timeout. This may be a record for most timeouts by officials in the quarters of action.
For the Tigers.
The crew tonight includes Chris Byrne and Greg Garrick and Tom Udy and Rolf Whitney, among others. There's a kick hitting at the 42-yard line, bouncing across the 40 into about the 38-yard line of the Tigers, and it rolls dead at that point. So the Tigers are going to take over with 2:33 to go in the third quarter.
25-18, the Tigers lead it.
By the way, don't forget that every Friday night here on TV 50 at 11:30 p.m. you can watch the TV 50 News Journal Sports Scoreboard. We wrap up the Friday evening of football mainly with the help of the people in the sports department of the News Journal and us back in the set. It's the most complete score and interview show you'll find anywhere. And again, Barbara with the football for the Tigers, and again, good yardage. My goodness, he runs hard. He's across the 45 to about the 46-yard line.
I've got him now for 102 yards and 18 carries. First night out, century mark.
Not bad. Pretty good way to start your high school varsity career. But 7 yards in the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3 to go for the Tigers of Mansfield Sr. as the time ticks away here in quarter number 3. Goins coming to the bottom of your screen. He's number 11. In the slot is Alonzo Vance. Deep is Coe, and the handoff to Vavra, and he didn't fool him that time. Maybe got a yard, maybe a half a yard. Big number 77 standing over him looking. That's John Tyson.
The line of scrimmage by the left side of the Fighting Eagle defense.
And little by little, these Eagle footballers just seem to be moving in slower motion all the time. And while it's not a hot night, it's probably a little humid down in the field, and that has to take its toll too.
If it was hot, it would really be taking its toll.
I don't know what the temperature is. I think the Badenhop forecast called for something like 68 or 67 degrees at game time. Actually, it seems a little warmer than that. Our cameraman, Dan Johns, is weather-wise. Dan, any prediction on the temperature? Nice. All righty, we're ready to go. 3rd down, 3 to go. A possession play for the Tigers. Jamal Hawkins looks over the Eagle defense. And he's rolling back, pitches to Coe. He's got one man to beat on the outside, and he's not going to do it. Very nice play by number 28, Maurice Fields.
By Maurice Fields.
Fields, who plays kind of a stand-up defensive end and has pretty good speed, was not going to let himself get outrun by James Coe. And so the Tigers are going to have to punt it away, and I believe
first time.
This is the first punt of the night
Punt formation for the Tigers. Andre Jones.
And David Johnson, number 69, a senior, does the punting. And check out those shoes for David Johnson. Red shoes on our punter, and he kicks it. End over end, not going to be too deep. In fact, coming up to take it at about the 34-yard line.
Andre Jones for a fair catch to his own 34-yard line, but there's a flag on the play.
Orange shoes on David Johnson.
Orange shoes.
Check those out on our punter, number 69 down there. Must have had a special on them somewhere. One of the other young men is wearing orange shoes as well. Flag.
No penalty.
Again, we had apparently an inadvertent flag thrown by one of the officials. That may be a record as well.
35-yard line.
19 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers lead Cleveland JFK 25-18. We may get a couple plays in here before the end of the period. Now, we can't have a letdown here.
No. Got to keep playing solid defense.
Anthony Crawford gets the ball, and he gets to the outside, and he is upset by Alonzo Vance. And that's why the people who know football like Alonzo Vance. He's quick, anticipates, and he tackles well. Anthony Crawford.
That's it.
Upended, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. With the score of the Tigers, the Mansfield Sr 25 and Cleveland JFK 18. We'll be back with the final period right after these words.
Planning a party? There's only one place to go, and that's Schaefer's Party Stores, with 2 locations in Mansfield. On Lexington Avenue, that's the newest, and you'll find everything you need to celebrate. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for birthdays. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for weddings. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for anniversaries. Yes, think Schaefer's Party Stores for every occasion. Schaefer's, your party and paper specialist in Mansfield and Sandusky. They have something for every holiday, too.
I'm Jane Embody. The home team here at TV50 works hard to bring you clear, concise, and timely coverage of news and events from the North Central Ohio area. We give you that local perspective, which is often missing when television stations from Cleveland or Columbus come to town. And we present it in a unique format that lets you pick the hour most convenient for you to watch the news. It's all part of the home team advantage, only on TV50.
Well, we're ready to go with the final 12 minutes of action here from Marlin Field, or at least it should be the final 12 minutes. We could always have an overtime, I suppose. Tigers took the lead for the first time in the game in the 3rd period, and they now lead by 7 points, 25-18. It's 2nd down, 4 to go for the Eagles at their own 40-yard line. JFK trailing, but on the move. And up the middle goes Andre Jones, midfield, and tripped up. And the man who got him was Alonzo Vance, and I tell you, he may have saved 6 points.
61 yards and 11 carries for Andre Jones. Once again, he got him by the leg, and that's the only way you got to stop these guys.
They're big running backs, both Andre Jones and Anthony Crawford, and of course the young man before them as well. But it's enough for a first down right at midfield. Eagles of JFK and a fumble. And a fumble. Who's got it? Do the Tigers? No. Eagles recover. Tigers had a couple of chances to fall on it, but they couldn't do it. I believe it was number 65, Tama Williams, or Toma Williams.
The fumble advancement.
And they advanced it, actually picked up about 6 yards in the play. And they're going to move it back to around 5.5 yards. It'll be, we'll call it 2nd down, 4 to go. inside Tiger territory at about the 44-yard line. And here they come. They being the Eagles. Quarterback Knowles to Crawford. Crawford to the outside. He's got running room. 40, 35, 30, 27-yard line. And again, one man to beat. He couldn't do it. Brian Forrest made the saving tackle. I'll tell you, they're never out of the ball game with men like Crawford and Jones. And Crawford doesn't look as though he's slowing it down. He may be one that's got his second wind.
78 yards and 17 carries. He picked up, or in 12 carries, he picked up 17 yards on that one.
At the 23-yard line, the Eagles have a first down. And Jones has a big hole at right tackle. Jones inside the 10-yard line to the 8-yard line. And they continue to roll. All the way to the 8-yard line, a big pickup of 14 yards by Andre Jones, and it's first and goal at the 8.
Just like that, it could be another new ball game for us.
7-point lead right now for Senior High is in jeopardy. Over the football come the Eagles. Quarterback Dwight Knowles spins, hands to Jones. Jones is going to get maybe a yard, and that's it.
Trying to hand off there at the end.
So Jones is stacked up after maybe a yard gain. We'll call it no gain. It'll be first and goal at the 8 still.
He's got 93 yards, Mike.
Now we may see that quick pass. I don't know. Number 22, George Jones, has been the favored receiver when indeed they do try to throw. They haven't been real successful at it, but let's see what happens. And let's see where George Jones goes if he's still in there.
Where's Jesse at?
Well, I guess he's not. Crawford is in behind him along with Jones, and the quarterback Knowles is rolling. He wants to run. He's at about the 7.
Nowhere.
And maybe a yard gain.
Dwight Knowles, the ball carrier.
Good defensive play, and I think Alonzo Vance is over there again on the stop. Number 37. He's a name you're going to hear called quite a bit when we do the games throughout the course of this year. He's just a really an outstanding athlete, a heady defensive player, and one that the college is very much like. It'll be first and goal. I beg your pardon, third and goal from, well, they say the 8 in the scoreboard. I'm going to say it's closer to the 7. Now we've got a whistle, and we've got another official timeout. We've got broken equipment all over the place. I think this time it's one of the Tigers trying to fix a helmet strap, Tony Famiglia. Time for us to remind you that following this game on TV 50 Sports Weekend for this August 25th, it'll be Madison Shelby with Brian Harder. Here we come now, third and goal from the 8 for the Eagles. Unbalanced line to the right side. Knowles, the quarterback, spins. He's got the handoff to Crawford. Crawford to the 5. Maybe inside the 5 to the 4, but no further.
Brought down by Chris Samuel and Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson again.
Again, Jesse Jackson, and we've got an injured player in the field.
Well, this is a crucial one here. Fourth down.
Score is 25 for the Tigers, 18 for Cleveland JFK. We have 8.5 minutes to go, and I can't see the injured man, or at least I can't see his number, and until we do, it's a JFK player who is down in the field, so we won't try to identify him until we know. We'll find out here in just a moment.
Well, they've marched right down the field, but now in the nitty-gritty land, the Tigers are stiffened. Playing pretty good defense. One more play. That's what the defensive coach always yells out there. Well, just one more time.
Well, if history repeats itself, we'll probably see some sort of an option pass play, and they've tried to usually spin the quarterback out and move him to the right side. So let's see if that happens again. We're still waiting to see who's down. It's number 65, Tama Williams, who is down in the field being attended to right now by the...
Well, you know, the one time, too, if you remember, we had a pass play in a similar situation the first half, and we had a drop pass, but a lot of green grass in front. this would be a perfect opportunity for the Tigers to
Here we go.
remember that.
4th and goal. Watch number 22. He split wide to the right side, and that is George Jones, and he's been a guy that they've looked to all night long. Dwight Knowles, the quarterback, with Crawford and Jones in behind him. 4th and goal from the 5. Jones in motion. The pitch back, and nowhere to go for Anthony Crawford. As they faked the reverse, Crawford kept it, and the Tigers swarmed him. Alonzo Vance was in there.
38.
Also, Jason Tate helped out. A great defensive stand by the Tigers as they stopped the drive. And they're going to spot the ball for a big loss, but the Tigers take over. But the ball will go all the way back to about the 12-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Mansfield Seniors 12, but the Tigers take over as they hold on 4th down, leading by 7 points with 8:12 to go in the ball game. Jamal Hawkins now will probably try to play it pretty close to the vest. Handoff goes to Vavra. Vavra is hit after a couple yards and dropped down.
Mike Vavra, the ball carrier.
Vavra maybe out to about the 14-yard line.
Picked up about 3. That's 105 yards and 20 carries.
We've talked a lot about him. And his name is Mike Vavra, sophomore, 5'9", 165-pound fullback, and he's had a big night. Play comes in from the sidelines from Jason Goings, number 11. And here we go. 2nd down, 6 to go. Tigers. Code deep in the eye behind the quarterback Hawkins. And again, Hawkins is going to keep it. Hawkins looking to get outside. He gets across the 15 near the 19-yard line. Cornelius Green, number 81, ran him out. And that's a pickup.
About 5. About 3.
About 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down. 3 to go Tigers.
From the 19-yard line.
Ball at their 19. Possession play, and this is, again, an important play because we've got plenty of time left in the ball game. 7:20 to go. Clock stopped on the out-of-bounds play. Wide to the left goes Alonzo Gilmore, top of your screen. And Hawkins with the ball. Hawkins to Vavra. Vavra very, very close. I think he's got it. I believe he's got it by about 1.5 yards.
Larry Shears, number 55, I believe it was. He led the way on that. You know, those linemen don't get enough credit. You know, I mean, they've been opening those holes on that right side all night long. And that time you followed him.
And that line consists of Donovan Powers and Matt Brum at tackles, Phil Hawkins and Larry Shears at guards. Chris Spade is the center. Hats off to them along with tight end Mark Barr. 1st and 10. With the ball on the reverse is Gilmore. He's going to be dropped for a big loss, and I don't understand that call.
No, you want to keep possession, and you want to make it simple. Keep possession, keep clock running. Now you've opened the door.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're moving the ball inside the tackles with this much time remaining and a lead, I don't quite understand why you go to the fancy plays, but I'm not calling the plays either. It'll be 2nd down, 18 yards to go. A big loss. The ball's at the 20, make that the 16-yard line. Hawkins with it. Hawkins rolling, pitching. Coe with the ball, 20,
oh, he's got
25, 30, 35, 40, 41-yard line. 1st down.
Come up with a big play again.
Well, maybe that's the reason they did it. They wanted to give Coe a chance to shine, and shine he did.
25 yards.
That is a monumentally big play for the Tigers. Takes them out of deep trouble. 6:17 to go in the ball game. They lead by 7. Ball is at the 41-yard line, their own 41. As Hawkins bends under center, hands to Vavra. Vavra with a flag down takes it to about the 44-yard line. And Vavra picks up 3, but I think we may have something illegal motion, I believe.
Illegal motion against Mansfield Sr.
So that's a mistake. That'll cost him 5 yards, and it'll be 1st and 15.
That's the 5th penalty, 45 yards. It's the first one of the second half, though. They haven't had a penalty in the second half.
Mansfield Sr. will be accepted. 5-yard penalty from
6:05 to go on the clock here in the game.
So the penalty is marched off here. 6:05 remaining. Clock moving now. We're under 6 minutes. 1st and 15 for the Tigers at their own 36-yard line. Up the middle, Vavra. Vavra across the 35 to about the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Mike Vavra, the ball carrier.
22 carries on the night.
Down, short gain by Eric Pitt.
22 carries for the young sophomore. Starting his first varsity game, he and 7 other members of the or 8 other members of the offense in their first varsity start tonight. It'll be 2nd down and between 14 and 15 to go as Hawkins looks over the defense. And Jamal is going to throw. Jamal wants Alonzo Gilmore, but he overthrows him. And it's not tough to overthrow Alonzo Gilmore. He's only 5 feet 5 inches tall.
3rd and 14 for the Tigers.
That'll bring up 3rd and 14.
Stop the clock.
That's right, with 5 minutes and 16 seconds to go.
That's the 8th pass for Jamal. He's completed 3, 57 yards.
Here we go on 3rd down, 14. Hawkins with the ball. Pitch back to Coe. Coe's at the 40. Coe's at the 45. Midfield. He's not going to get the first down, I don't believe.
After the 48-yard line, but there's a flag on the play.
Flag down, and Coe went down as well at about the 48-yard line. He had to get just across the 50 to pick up the first down.
Mansfield Sr.
Going to have a illegal block by the Tigers. That'll put them back even further, and you can rest assured that they're probably going to not try to throw their way out of this deep hole, I wouldn't think. I would imagine they'll probably pick up a few yards in this play, then rely on their defense if they can get that kick away. But we're going back quite a ways. Tom Udy marching it back, the official, and he steps it inside the 25-yard line. It's going to be spotted just short of that 25, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
3rd and 26 for the Tigers.
Illegal chop block. That's what he called it.
26 yards to go for a first down. Tigers leading 25 to 18. We have 5:06 left in the ball game.
You almost just got to pick up some yardage and punt it away. Don't get foolish with
Well,
fumble.
they fumbled the ball, and they fallen the ball, and that was almost super disaster. That may have been the 5th or 6th fumble on an exchange between the center and the quarterback for the Tigers of Mansfield Sr.
Well, I have him fumbling 5 times and recovering all 5.
And David Jackson comes in to do the punting. David Jackson with the orange shoes will hope he can get some fire in his kick this time.
And you got to believe that JFK will be coming, putting the pressure on.
He's kicking from his own 5-yard line. Jackson, only the 2nd time he's punted tonight, gets it away, and it's a poor kick.
And it's roughing the kicker.
And we've got a flag down, and we got a roughing the kicker call, and that is a huge call in the Tigers' favor. There's a timeout on the field with the score of the Tigers 25 and Cleveland JFK 18. We'll be back with the final 4:25 of this game right after these words.
Hearing and understanding conversation in noisy places, what I went through. Now with my tiny bell-tone petites, I hear everything, and you can hardly see them. My good life goes on. Yours can too. Call Belltone now. Have your hearing tested by a trained specialist. It's free during Belltone's 50th anniversary.
Belltone in Mansfield, Mount Vernon, Ashland, and Norwalk. Call the location nearest you.
WVNO's custom CD music mix plays all your light rock favorites like Richard Marx, Huey Lewis and the News, Lionel Richie. The hits of the 60s, 70s, and today are all on compact disc at 106.1 FM WVNO.
I found the house I want to buy, but I don't have quite enough cash for the down payment. I need an FHA loan.
Call Mayor Mortgage.
I qualify for a VA loan with no down payment. But where do I go to get one?
Go to Mayor Mortgage.
With my financial maturity, I certainly should qualify for a low interest rate home loan. But where do I go to find one?
Try Mayor Mortgage.
I've had some slow credit. I'd pay a higher interest rate to own my own house. But who in Mansfield's going to give me the chance?
For all your commercial and home mortgage needs, contact Mayor Mortgage at 270 Lexington Avenue in Mansfield. Just call 756-6927. That's 756-6927.
So the roughing the kicker penalty works in the favor of the Tigers because not only do they get the yardage, but they get an automatic first down. And that means they keep possession with 4 minutes, 25 seconds to go and a 7-point lead.
That's the third first down by penalty for the Tigers. They'll take it.
They trailed at halftime 18-12, but have come back to pick up 13 points to none for JFK here in the second half. First and 10 at the 36. Hawkins with the ball. Hawkins rolling back, being chased, almost caught, throws the ball up in the air. It is out of bounds and a dangerous throw. I don't know whether he was throwing it for the out of bounds or not, but he threw it up for grabs and perhaps was aiming for that sideline. Closest men to it were a couple of the reserves for the Tigers on the sidelines, number 95 and 23. We'll mention their names because they haven't gotten in the game yet. I don't even have 95 on my program, but 23 is Chris Hout. So it'll be second and 10 for the Tigers. JFK trying to get that ball back so they can make a last drive to try to tie this thing up or perhaps go ahead. Second and 10 at the 36. Again, Hawkins on the run to the outside, pitches to Coe. Coe is wrapped up by a couple of the JFK Eagles. Letary Green leads the charge. He's number 31. And he picks up, he being Coe, picks up about 3 yards.
Important thing right now is that clock at 3:40.
3 minutes, 40 seconds to go. And a play comes in from the sidelines from James Mayer, number 84. He caught a touchdown pass for the first Tiger score back in the first quarter on the first series. Hawkins on 3rd and 7. Spins. Down the line on the left side. Pitches out to Coe. Coe to the outside 40, 45, 47. Didn't get to the first down marker. It's going to be short.
Now the question, what do you do?
Well, I think you have to punt it.
Well, you chance a block punt, but...
Well, that's true, but I really don't think you give them this kind of field position this late in the game with a 7-point lead, but we will see. And I could be wrong because Goings is going into the ball game. And it doesn't look as though Jackson has come in to punt it away.
Will be in there? Is he in there?
4th and 2, and they may try to draw him offside. If you remember, they did that one other time. They may get the long count. And let's see what happens.
No.
Hawkins straight ahead. Quarterback sneak, and he may have it. Hawkins may have the first down.
The ball carrier close to a Tiger first down.
It's going to be very, very close.
Very close.
Alonzo Gilmore.
I think he... Yep, he made it.
They have it. Didn't even measure for it. First down.
Big gamble paid off.
You were right. I stand corrected. 3 minutes, 13 to go in the game. Tigers on top by 7 and controlling the football here in the closing minutes. As Hawkins brings his team to the line of scrimmage again and fumbles the ball again.
That's 6 of them.
I would imagine we'll have a little bit of after practice work between the center and Jamal Hawkins. The center is Chris Spade, number 76. He and Hawkins have had some miscues on 6 different occasions tonight. And we got
Kay is going to call a timeout, Mike.
Timeout with 2:47 to go. In this, the opening game of the 1990 season for the Tigers of Mansfield Sr. and the Eagles of JFK Cleveland. Next week, the Tigers travel to Zanesville. And the week after that, they'll be right back here at Arlen Field against Cleveland Collinwood. And then they open their Heartland Conference schedule. Well, I beg your pardon, they really don't. They don't open the Heartland Conference schedule until the last 5 games of Well, let's just check that. Let's just look again here. They play Cleveland Collinwood next week. I beg your pardon. Zanesville next week. Cleveland Collinwood here the week after that. Followed by Oregon Clay at Oregon. That's up near Toledo, I believe. Then it's a road trip to Cleveland Benedictine, and we'll be on that one. Then they're back home against Ashland. Home to Marion Harding. Home to Youngstown Rams. At Madison, and they close the season at home against the Lexington Minutemen. So as you know, the Heartland Conference, or as you may know, the Heartland Conference has only 5 members, so that means there are only 4 conference football games. Here we go with a 2nd down and 11 to go for the Tigers. 2:47 to go in the ball game. Hawkins under center again. Hawkins off to Vavra, but a whistle before the play really gets going.
I think we had a little motion on the Tigers that time.
Ball's at the 46-yard line of Mansfield Sr. And Nick Edmond is absolutely correct. We had motion.
5-yard penalty.
That's 7 penalties for 65 yards.
From the Tigers' 41-yard.
2:45 now to go in the football game. Tigers clinging to a 7-point lead. And as I said, they have outscored JFK by a score of 13-0 here in the second half. Lead 25-18. Hawkins on a 2nd down, 16 to go. And he's going to keep the ball. He's going to roll.
Nice
Second up, 45, midfield, 45, 40, 35, 30. He's going to go. He's going to make it to the 10. We got a touchdown run. Well, let's see.
Oh, there's a flag on the play.
48-yard
That was about a 50. No, it was about a 58-yard run.
Sorry, 58-yard run. Called back.
That's on them because the Tigers are celebrating. I think that Tigers are celebrating, and it appears that it's on JFK.
Well, I don't know. I saw a signal by Greg Garrick of clipping.
Oh, yep, you're right.
It was.
A couple of Tigers were jumping up and down and pointing the other way, but
a great effort, a great individual effort by Jamal Hawkins, canceled by a clipping penalty. And we're going to bring it back.
Now, the big thing is that they're going to take it way back, and now you can't afford to do too many things because you're getting back here around the 30, the 28-yard line, and there's still plenty of time left.
So it's going to be marched off all the way back
We'll take the ball back to the
32-yard line, and a 58-yard touchdown run wiped out. And it's going to bring up a, second down. 26 yards to go for the Tigers. And Hawkins again brings his team to the line of scrimmage. 2.5 minutes to go in the ball game. And Hawkins isn't letting up. He's back to throw. Pretty good rush put on. He's going to go to the sidelines, throw to the sidelines. It's complete. Vavra has it. 35, 37 down to the 40-yard line. Another pretty good individual effort, not only by Vavra, but by Jamal Hawkins. I thought he might just run the ball out of bounds, but he decided to try to pick up some yardage. Now we've got a timeout taken by Cleveland JFK, stopping the clock at 2 minutes, 11 seconds to go.
Tigers have a 3rd and 18.
3rd and 18.
40-yard line.
Surprise you a little, that call?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. You think it's going to be simple again and just keep it simple and kind of eat it up.
Well, it's kind of nice to see. I mean, we've got, maybe that's the aggressiveness of youth showing up, but of course they're not calling the plays, those young fellas, but maybe Coach Gilbert has decided that you might as well not play passively, go after them, and that's exactly what they're doing with a 7-point lead.
Oh, you can tell JFK, though, is hurting as far as physical hurt. Timeouts, they're kneeling and bending over and helping each other. They look, like you said, tired, and now they look exhausted.
That was a pickup of about 6 yards, so it's now 3rd and 18. Still, though, plenty of time to go. 2 minutes, 11 seconds in the game. 3rd and 18 for the Tigers. And Hawkins is going back again, and he's being rushed this time, but he gets away. Great athletic ability. Hawkins still running. Hawkins at the 40, 45, 46-yard line. We got a flag in the backfield, and we've seen a lot of those tonight.
See, that's going to take it back again, and they were at the 40, and that would take it back to, what, the 25? And again, it wipes out a pretty good gain to where they'd be in decent field position, at least punt it away and get them down in their own territory.
Junior varsity Tigers.
Critical penalty by the young Tigers. They're not going to make it easy on themselves, that's for sure. Right now they're in the driver's seat. 25-18, Tigers lead with 1:59 to go in the ball game. But they're pushing themselves further and further back toward their own goal line. Tom Udy is still marching that ball all the way back inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
That's 9 penalties for 95 yards. And 4 of those have come in the last few minutes. 3 of them have been big 15-yarders.
Clock is now moving down to 1:50 to go. 3rd down and 38 yards to go. And I would imagine we might see something rather conservative here. Hawkins under center. Hawkins almost dropped the ball. Down the line he goes. Got a little bit of yardage to the outside, near the sideline. Cuts it up and gets it out of bounds. Didn't want to, but he did. That stops the clock with a 1:32 to go. And he actually made a pretty good gain out of what looked like it was going to be almost nothing.
16 yards.
Brings up 4th down for the Tigers.
The ball is out to the 34-yard line. It'll be 4th down for the Tigers. David Jackson is going to punt it away. He'll stand at his own 20-yard line to receive the snap. Anthony Crawford, or is that Andre Jones, I believe, is deep for Kennedy. He's standing at his own 38-yard line. And watch this all-out rush from Cleveland JFK, but a good snap, and we're going to get that kick away, and it's a pretty good kick. Andre Jones waiting at the 32. He's got it. 35.
Boom.
And boomed it down. And the man who got him was number 66, Donovan Powers. And he really stuck him. Donovan Powers with a great special teams play. 5'9", 180-pound senior offensive tackle.
He likes to hit.
Sure does. 1:22 to go, and JFK is now some 66 yards away from the end zone. They're down by 7 points. The clock ticks. Quarterback Dwight Knowles probably is going to have to put it up in a hurry. Crawford now trying to get set. And there goes Knowles. Back to throw. The rush is out. Tigers are going to get it. Tigers pick it up. It's kicked. It's fallen on at the 9-yard line. And what a defensive effort. I think the man who hit him was Brandon Lindsay, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe the man who recovered the fumble finally was Chris Samuel, number 86. But the Tigers come up with a giant defensive play, perhaps the game winner.
That's the 3rd fumble recovery.
They get the ball all the way down at the 8-yard line. 1st and goal from there, and the Tigers can either run out the clock or they can go for that clinching score. 25-18 they lead, and here they come out over the football.
I got a feeling they want another score.
I don't know. They're pretty tight there. I got a feeling they're going to maybe play it rather safe. Bobber gets the ball inside the 5 to the 4 to the 3-yard line. They might just be able to barrel it right in from here, although the clock is ticking away. Barbara down to the 3, and 26 seconds, the clock ticking. I believe that JFK is out of timeouts, and so that could have been the last play of this ball game. Tigers may get one more as they come out over the line of scrimmage. They will get one more play from the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal for Mansfield Sr. Hawkins spins, gives to the fullback. Touchdown, Tigers. Touchdown, Tigers, and I think it was number 38. Looked like Jason Tate, I believe. I beg your pardon. No, it was not. It was number 26, Donnie Babel. I believe it was Donnie Babel, if I'm not mistaken.
It looked like 29 to me, Mike.
I'm sorry. You're right. 29, Tony Barrett. The young man we spoke about earlier on is a fellow who's been hampered by some injuries. He and Co have been fighting it out for the tailback spot, but Tony Barrett takes it in from the 3-yard line, and the Tigers have wrapped it up. They now lead 31-18. They can tack on an extra point, but this one is going to belong to the Senior High Tigers, and they will go to Zanesville next Friday night, 1-0 in the season. But we've got to salute a young man in particular named Mike Vavra, who had an outstanding game, a sophomore fullback, rushed for over 100 yards. As the Tigers now are trying to get things, they had to call timeout because they didn't have enough men on the field. As the Tigers and Jamal Hawkins prepare to try to kick another extra point. Tigers have scored 18 points. Oh, I beg your pardon, 19 points right now here in the second half to none for Cleveland JFK.
Hawkins will attempt the extra point.
And Hawkins will try to tack on the extra point. 3 seconds to go, so we'll get at least a kickoff after this. Spotted, blocked. It is blocked. And the score remains 31-18. 31-18 Tigers, and they're going to win the opener of the 1990 season for themselves and their coaches and their fans. And it's a happy group of people here at Ireland Field, at least on the south side. Not too many people at all. You can almost count them on 2 hands and your feet. But as you can see, a sparse crowd. But as I said, on this side of the field, I would imagine we probably had maybe 3,000, 3,500 people. Really a beautiful facility for football, a beautiful night for football. A little bit sticky. Remember now, following this game on TV 50 Sports Weekend, it'll be Brian Harder and his crew from Skiles Field in Shelby, the opener of the 90 season for the Whippets against the Madison Rams. Always a great matchup, and I'm sure this one will be no exception. 3 seconds to go here, and we're awaiting the kickoff and what will be the final play of this ball game. Hats off, though, to a very fine, I think very talented JFK team. I think what I said early in the game kind of took its toll, and that was the fact that so many of their players had to go both ways, play offense and defense. And there's the kick, squib kick. It's going to be fallen on by JFK at the 41-yard line, and that's it. That's all. That's the ball game. That is the end of the game. The Tigers win it by a score of 31-18. Dick, any quick statistics here before we turn it back to the studio?
Well, Mike Vavra had 23 carries for 116 yards, scored 2 touchdowns. Coe had 68 yards, 13 carries. He scored a touchdown. Hawkins finished with 60 yards, 16 carries. And, of course, he had a great game at quarterback. He was 4 for 10 for 65 yards, but made some key plays at key times. The Tigers ended up with 16 rushing first downs. They had 2 passing first downs and 3 by penalty. They completely dominated the second half. I think what's very impressive about the team tonight is in the first half we talked about the defense, wondering if they were ever going to tighten up, and by golly they did. The second half they didn't let a score by them, and especially after JFK scored right before the half, they could have folded up the tent, come out here in the second half and laid down, and they didn't do that. They came out and played some football, and their offense continued to dominate, and I think that was the reason why the Tigers walk off the field victorious.
That's right. Final score again, 31-18. The Tigers win the opener and head to Zanesville next week. We'll be traveling to Lexington for the Lexington-Shelby game. Dick Edmond, thank you for a good evening on this first night of the 1990 season. Our thanks to Dan Johns, too. Now we will pause for some messages, and then stay tuned because Brian Harder will be along between games, and then he'll be bringing you the Shelby-Madison game. Once again, the final score from Ireland Field, Mansfield Sr. 31 and Cleveland Cleveland JFK 18. For Dick Edmond, this is Mike Green, turning it back to our studio and these messages.
Justin's Art Carved Studio 1. Visit Duncan Jewelers for your class ring, cause Duncan's got just the thing. If you're in town or at the mall, Duncan Jewelers is the place to see it all. Area high schools, if you want to be cool, go straight to Duncan's after school. A wide selection, sell prices too. Duncan Jewelers has the class ring for you. For the best memory of your high school days, go to Duncan Jewelers, cause it really pays.
Impatience, a flower that takes a lot of water and a lot of shade. And if you want to know when it's the proper time to water the impatiens, what I'd like to invite you to do is watch the Evening Journal. Hi, I'm John Badenhop. I'll bring you weather all evening long on the Evening Journal twice an hour. We'll give you the exclusive 5-day forecast from TV 50 for Mansfield and surrounding area. Watch us, won't you? The Evening Journal, Monday through Friday.
There you have it, an exciting 31-18 come-from-behind victory for the Mansfield Senior High Tigers. One of the key performers in the win was Mansfield quarterback Jamal Hawkins. Mike was able to catch up with the Tiger signal caller after the game.
Jamal, first of all, what seemed to be the problem? You had some problems in the snap, the exchange. What was it?
Later on in the game, in the second half, the dude got on the field and the ball got wet, and center, his hands got wet, and my hands got wet, and just kind of hard to hang on to it after a while.
That first touchdown pass to Mayer, can you explain the play? What was it?
It was just a streak onto the outside, and my job just to get it up high for the corner of the end zone, and he was there to catch it.
He has good speed, too.
Yeah, he runs a 4.4 and a 40.
How about you? What do you run?
4.4.
Not bad at all. You know, I think that one of the things that surprised me perhaps was near the end of the game, you had the lead, you had some long yardage situations. I thought maybe you might try to sit on it and get rid of the ball and leave it to your defense, but you went for it.
Yeah, the object of the thing we were trying to do at the end of the game was get the first down, you know, just keep running the clock down, and unfortunately we had a lot of penalties that set us back, and so we had a punt, I guess.
You know, you're kind of a veteran among a lot of youngsters here. You've got, I think, only two returning starters on offense, you and Alonzo Gilmore. Yeah. What do you have to do to try to get these young kids to come along? Now, Tony Vavra, for instance, he had a great game.
Like Tony, I told him, you know, at the beginning of the game, just keep running the ball hard and everything. We get the ball to him, you know, and get his yards and everything, and just, you know, keep the young guys on the line up, you know, keep their confidence up is the main thing. Just lead them down the field.
What do you look forward to now? Just enjoying the victory and not really looking ahead yet to Zanesville?
You know, go home tonight and go to sleep and come in tomorrow, go back to work. Get ready for Zanesville.
You know, the option play seems to be something that you enjoy, you do well. Is it going to be a bigger part of the offense as you go along?
Probably. We ran a little bit tonight, and I suspect we'll run a lot more next game, hopefully.
Now, let's get to those extra points, at least the first few. What happened?
I wasn't looking at the ball. I just kept raising my head up and just kept going off to the right.
I mean, you'd miss the extra point, then you'd boom a kickoff.
I kept my head down on a kickoff.
Jamal Hawkins, one of the stars of tonight's win over Cleveland JFK.
Hi, Mom.
Let's take a look at some of the other games from last night. In Lexington, the Minutemen defeated Ontario by a score of 24-6. Ben Gerhardt rushed for over 100 yards, and Pete Frank scored a touchdown for Lexington in that one. The Galleon Tigers opened the 1990 season in good fashion, downing Ashland by a score of 33-6. Sean Fry was the big story for the Tigers, rushing for 126 yards, and he also scored 3 touchdowns. He also caught 4 passes for 30 yards, and even intercepted a pass from his quarterback spot on defense. The Clear Fork Colts, one of the premier football programs in the area, opened their season with a convincing 35-7 win over Fredericktown. Scott Thorne was the game's leading ball carrier, picking up 117 yards on 25 carries. As a team, the Colts mustered 305 yards in total offense and held the Freddies to 130 yards. South Central defeated the Lucas Cubs by a score of 34-14, rolling up 356 yards in total offense. Quarterback Ryan Teglovic threw a touchdown pass, or a pair of those, I should say, to Brandon Risner, and the Trojans' running game pounded out 240 yards against the Cubs. Greg Orweiler led Lucas, rushing for a game-high 117 yards on 18 carries, and he scored once. Cub quarterback Chris Hoff completed 6 of 11 passes for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. The Woodland Flashes downed Elyria Catholic by a score of 14-7. Jason Rother scored from the 1 in the 4th quarter to give Willard the win. Mark Harwood threw for 177 yards in the win. Also helping the Crimson Flashes were 12 Elyria penalties. Bucyrus and Winford combined for 55 points, and the Redmen came away with a 35-20 win. Cliff Vogt rushed for 113 yards and scored 3 times, and teammate Ty Robinson collected 121 yards and scored once for Bucyrus. The Crestline Bulldogs recorded a 29-0 win over Plymouth. The rushing game was in full gear for Crestline as they picked up 200 yards on the ground. Scott Eckert scored twice for the Bulldogs. Pete Brothers returned a second-half kickoff 91 yards, igniting a 43-6 Loudonville win over Logan Elm. Loudonville collected 324 yards in total offense. Now let's take a look at some of the other scores from last night. As TV 50 Sports Weekend continues, Mike Raymond and I will bring you the Shelby Whippets and the Madison Rams. I'm Brian Harder. I'll see you at halftime.
What sets a pre-owned car from Scarl Pontiac Buick apart from the rest? Well, we won't sell you an auction vehicle, one that you know nothing about. Our pre-owned cars are locally owned trade-ins, and we'll be happy to tell you the name of the previous owner. That's important when you want to know more than just what the salesman tells you. For a new Buick or Pontiac, or a pre-owned car you can trust, come to Scarl's.
I'm Kurt Scarl, and thanks for your business.
Planning a party? There's only one place to go, and that's Schaefer's Party Stores, with 2 locations in Mansfield. On Lexington Avenue, that's the newest, and you'll find everything you need to celebrate. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for birthdays. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for weddings. Think Schaefer's Party Stores for anniversaries. Yes, think Schaefer's Party Stores for every occasion. Schaefer's, your party and paper specialist in Mansfield and Sandusky. They have something for every holiday, too.
MTS, Musitronics Services, a subsidiary of WVNO Radio, has an immediate opening for a technician installer. Experience in communication, installation, or electronics industry is desirable, and 2 years of technical school or equivalent work experience is required. You'll be involved in communication system installation and broadcast station maintenance. Apply in person at Musitronics Services, 2900 Park Avenue West, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
You know, there's lots of great entertainment here in the Mansfield area. Everything from stage shows to concerts, art exhibits, special events, and of course lots of movies too. Hi, I'm Roger Price. Join me for my entertainment reports as part of the Evening Journal on TV 50. And best of all, for my reports, you don't need a ticket.
Okay, we're at Skiles Field here in Shelby, Ohio, where the Madison Rams open up the 1990 season against the Shelby Whippets. This is an annual event, and it's usually a pretty good matchup. Standing here beside me is Mike Raymond. He is a Kent State graduate and a former colleague of mine. First of all, welcome to the greater Mansfield area.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Glad to be here for this game.
Okay, we're going to open up the season now talking about the Shelby Whippets.